Hello everyone and welcome to week 2 of LUTI here on Dapple Production. I am Pat, here with Rice, ready to watch wonderful games.
Yes, we have I believe this is Division 8 set for you today. Our first of 4 in pretty much a 4-hour block.
Yeah, we have four games to show you, and we'll start with 4 of a kind going against less than 3. Now, 4 of a kind, it's a team that's been around for a bit more than 6 months now. They've played LSL, they're around. Meanwhile, less than 3, it's the special team. It's a team that was started thanks to Splatoon Strongholds beginners program. So I can't wait to see how they're doing.
I did not know that about less than 3, but you know, that's really interesting, and I think it's a really cool I think that Stronghold is doing, where they're pretty much grouping new competitive players together, seeing how they like to play, and then either giving them that experience in competitive Splatoon, or you know, them at the end forming a formal team for themselves.
Yeah, lots of opportunities, but let's get right in the game. Rice, let's go with game number 1. That's going to be Splat Zones on Macomart.
Ooh, we are seeing actually a sloshing machine. Haven't seen that in a while, and a Dreadringer on the other side on, I think that's less than 3.
Yeah, less than 3 in blue, 4 of a kind in orange. Both teams going in. Love less than 3, bringing the bow. A good bow can really deal a lot of damage, and most people are not ready to fight a bow. And right now, it looks like less than 3 take control of the zone and take control of the stacks, as well as 4 of a kind is kind of forced to move away.
Yeah, we can just see how aggressive less than 3 is at the beginning here. And they get 2 down. That's pretty good for them, and they're gonna start this lockout process here.
Yeah, and they're not stopping. Rice, it's more action. 2 versus 2 right now. Starboy is going to be splatted as well. Less than 3 simply holding the zone, as 4 of a kind are rushing in, are not able to paint it yet, but with 2 players down, they should be able to apply penalty. 31 points in the first minute. That's a huge opening lead for less than 3.
Yeah, that's a really good opening lead, but 4 of a kind kind of reversed that in terms of their map control. Now they're in this lockout situation, and they have some good specials ready here to continue that lockout.
Yeah, that lockout, and now 4 of a kind, they're in very nice positions, but here comes the specials from less than 3. They're gonna run at the zone. They're getting the huge Splat Gibbons just rushing in thanks to that reef slider. That's control for less than 3. Now both teams are back to fighting around that zones. Oh wait, there's 2 players down, 3 players down on less than 3. That's a wipeout for 4 of a kind. I mean, the lead is for less than 3, but 4 of a kind are holding the control right there.
Yeah, we can see the constant fighting back and forth. Less than 3 had that push back in, but you know, 4 of a kind came back fighting. I think especially with that cooler, they're gonna be respawning a lot faster than less than 3, who does not cooler.
Yeah, and it's non-stop action. There is no penalty left on 4 of a kind, but less than 3 is going to change that right away. Here comes the Splat. It's less than 3 taking back their control. They're not able to establish themselves, though. The Zipcaster is punished, and 4 of a kind is already back onto the zone, back onto painting. Starboy and Citrina are going to use their specials to get in. With 2 players down, 4 of a kind again able to take back control, and this time there isn't that much penalty left on them.
Yeah, not a lot of penalty left until they take the lead, and they're also in a pretty good spot, but 1 does go down on 4 of a kind. This might be less than 3's chance to push back in here. Yeah,
and right now the strikes are coming in. Can less than 3 hold their lead? Here comes a wave slider. I should give them the zone. Yes, as Gibbons is getting in, and with 2 players down, less than 3 are able to take control this time and are back in there, back on the attack. But can they seal things? No, it looks like 4 of a kind are back on the... Oh! It's just everybody's fighting left and right, right?
Yeah, the constant fighting left and right, the Booyah Bomb coming out on the side of Four of a Kind, that's surprise
Mhm.
cap. But this Reef Slider coming out, gets a pick, gets
Oh!
two, and this is gonna be a pretty even fight.
An even fight, but everybody is already down. For the Kind taking the zone back now. The lead was extended by less than 3. For the Kind really need to hold the zone this time. They can't allow less than 3 to apply penalty again. We're close to the last minute of this game.
Yeah, and they need to be really careful here because there is that Reef Slider ready. They're trying to go for that cap and gets the cap, and that's more penalty on the side of Four of a Kind.
Penalty after penalty after penalty. It is non-stop. For the Kind really need to make it work. We need to splat that Reef Slider before it goes onto the zone now that we're in the last minute, but there's no penalty on them. They're making good points right now, and less than 3 are waiting, are preparing their special. I see the Reef Slider is already with the strikes. That's going to be very close, but the lead is swapped in the nick of time.
Yeah, the lead barely being swapped here, but Four of a Kind needs to be careful here because also less than 3 does not have a lot of penalty points to go through.
Yeah, we've been so back and forth between these two teams, both taking control, making points, and right now it's on For the Kind to get into paint. They're able to get, oh, 2 splats, almost 3 Gibbons getting in, repainting the zone with the Reef Slider, but it's not enough. The Reef Slider didn't cap, and now it's For the Kind taking control and winning game number 1 by a single point.
Yeah, by a singular point, and that was really close when they kept going back and forth because, as we said, the more that the zone flips, the penalty points are a lot lower. So that was pretty dangerous for both sides at the end if they didn't hold control for a long period of time.
Yeah, very much. Both teams showing us resilience, showing us their ability to take control, to be in there. I mean, less that's 3. They had the initial push, a huge control at the start. The Four of a Kind clawed their way back into this game, getting more and more and more. And around the end, as they had the lead, they managed to deny the Reef Slider to just seal absolutely the deal. But it was so close between these two teams.
Yeah, definitely. I'm interested to see in how less than 3 would want to adapt here because they did have a really strong push and hold at the beginning, and it's not like they weren't having good retakes either. So I'm wondering what the game plan will be in other games to try to adjust towards maybe try to have that initial hold that they had last a little longer.
Yeah, very much. It's about holding a bit longer, but now we are going on to Clam Blitz on Scourge Gorge. It's a different game altogether. It's a different dynamic. We have a much wider map and an objective that demands that you get forward, that you get under that basket. It's no longer about simply holding the zone. It's about pushing in, and we'll see how these teams are able to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I think you might see the Dread again. I think this is not a bad Dread Ringer map as well. And I just Slider might be used for different purposes in terms of it won't be used for that zone cap, but maybe it's to clear out that basket area for that put when they're trying to do that.
Yeah, and I have a note here that says that that's a bow main, that we're going to see more bow probably on the side of For the Kind. A bit of change in terms of weapon. We see a 96 deco coming in. 96 deco with a Kraken can do a lot of work to secure the basket.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing this decav come out from less than 3 as well. And you know, decav had a couple nerfs this recent patch, but I still think it's such a strong weapon. You have to be very careful about it.
Yeah, it's still very much one of these great weapons that is so flexible, that can do so much for your team. And look at that, less than 3 are opening incredibly strong. 2 players down onto For the Kind. Now they have a lot of clams. They have 17 clams between them. They haven't made a super clam yet. They're probably waiting to get under the basket. but they lose 2 players. It's the end of that push. Very nice jump out to save the clams, to save the special, but this time it's on For the Kind to attack.
Yeah, Forgum here to attack. They have 16 clams. Again, not a ball yet. I think they're trying to funnel clams into one player for a ball, but not able to pull up yet.
Well, they have the ball and they have control over the basket. The machine is in, activating the Booyah Bomb to defend right now. For the Kind are firmly onto that basket area, and Less Than 3 just lost 2 players, Rice.
Yeah, and this is going to be very difficult if Four of a Kind is cycling their clams. Well, they can keep scoring the points down. The 96 here trying to hold the front, tossing a couple clams. Very smart of the players, but I don't think they're going to get any more in.
Yeah, I mean, opening with 60 points already is pretty nice for the Kind, but now Less Than 3 are back into mid, are trying to get in, and with the strikes, they are pushing as much as they can. The wall and so many different things to defend, but the Decapitator is in. You talked about how powerful this weapon still was. Look at that! What control right here, and the clams are flying in to score the points.
Yeah, the clams are flying in, that crab tank being popped, but that's 2 down on the side of Less Than 3, and it's only the crab to try to hold the basket.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, and that crab is going to be punished. Less Than 3 not able to get as big a push as Four of a Kind did. Now they need to get back in there, but at least they managed to maintain some presence into mid, which means Altalura with that Decapitator will be able to punish some things. Here comes a Kraken from For the Kind. The Kraken is not gonna find much yet, but will allow maybe something. No, the Kraken is now running away and is so close to being punished.
Ooh, but it is a 3v3 fight on the map. But, you know, the crab can get popped here on Less Than 3, and that might be their opportunity to try to hold mid.
Yeah, ooh, very nice punish onto the pencil. No pencil for Four of a Kind means less tactical for them right now. Less Than 3 have so many clams again, but no super clam yet, and they need to find their way forward.
Yeah, they're trying to pick off that machine.
Ooh.
They do get that machine. The 96 goes down. It's just that pencil, and this is going to be another basket open.
That's another basket open. This time the lead is so close to be swapped between Less Than 3, but they need a few more clams. They don't have enough clams to do the job, and Ari Kitty is alone with a T-Tech. The jumps are in, but they don't have any clams either. The basket is going to close as Less Than 3 is forced to jump away. That was a nice push. But again, For the Kind, that huge lead that they got at the start of the game is looking like it could be enough.
Yeah, but they need to be careful here. One going down from Less Than 3, and I'm not sure exactly what. Okay. Decaf there. I was wondering where they went, and then the Decaf's just trying to play around this mid block, being an annoying present as Decaf is all the time.
Very much annoying, very much around. The crab tank is dropping, is pushing all of For of a Kind away. 45 seconds left in the game, and Less Than 3 is looking to push in. Here comes the strikes. They have another super clam. Less Than 3 has made so many super clams, but they lose 3 players. They get wiped as they open the basket. That's not even the lead.
Yeah, and Less Than 3, if they want to try to make another push here, they need to try to make another power clam, because I think that one they scored was their pity clam.
Yes, it was, and now Less Than 3 lose 3 players again. For of a Kind looking to get the victory. It's been so close, but right now it's only 10 points away from a KO, and there's nobody from Less Than 3 to even defend.
Yeah, there's no one there to defend, and that ending push pretty much put the nail in the coffin for Less Than 3, where they pretty much didn't have a way to really get back in.
Yeah, no way to get back, no way. I mean, it was very much a For of a Kind taking control of this game, getting 2 big pushes. That's all they needed. Less Than 3 had so many times they had control over mid. So many times they had a lot of clams, but they were not able to put the clams in the basket, and that's kind of what you need to do.
Yeah, I think I was a little confused here. Pancake kind of just sharking under that basket, maybe trying to get clams in, but unfortunately, no one really was able to relay those clams in, and I think that was the biggest issue with that push there. There was just not enough clams for lead.
Yeah, very much. But it is not over. 4 of a kind are up 2-0, but less than 3. We're fighting these 2 games. We're here. We're able to mount pushes to get the fights. It's just a matter of sealing the deal, of getting a few more points. They'll have another chance to do that, this time on tower control on Crab Leg Capital.
I think that's ship shape.
That's ship-shaped cargo. Yeah. I'm. My brain is mush.
Oh, you're good. I was looking at it. I was like, they did come out at the same time. But yeah, ship shape it's a very snowballing map. Once you get past that, pretty much that 50-point mark on that tower, and especially after you get that second checkpoint, it's such a snowball into that KO territory.
Yeah, I mean, right now, less than 3, they have the tools to get back in. And on a map like Ship-Shaped Cargo Company, on tower control, this is a snowball map. This is the kind of map where you can get the momentum. It's just a matter of... We saw less than 3 in that game. They had more control over the map most of the time compared to what 4 of a kind was able to do. Now, the matter is really, can they use that control and turning it to points, which is very different in tower control.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll have to see how less than 3 and also 4 of a kind try to approach this, as we're on the loading screen of death for a second.
We're getting in there. And it's a wiper from Altalira. Switching Splatanas for a lighter, faster one. And these hammers, since the buff, a single hammer throw onto the tower cleans the tower.
Yeah, this hammer buff, I've been messing around with it with my friends, and we think it's a little crazy how crazy you don't need, like, how much damage it can do from such a far range. But we see here the wiper getting a pick onto the shot. That's 2 down on the side of 4 of a kind, and less than 3 playing a very aggressive opening here.
Yeah, and that's less than 3 again, opening pretty strongly, and this time turning their control into points. That's what they need to do. Here comes a hammer. That's going to not find much, but less than 3 is still in attack mode, getting more splats. They're pushing through the court. That first checkpoint was no problem for them, and now they're getting to the hard one.
Yeah, this is the second checkpoint. It usually takes a lot more time to get past this, but that's the wipeout.
Yeah, nice answer by 4 of a kind. They lost a bunch of points there, but they're still very much in the game. It's often on the second checkpoint where that things are decided, and now 4 of a kind are in position to attack as the tower is moving back into mid.
Yeah, we see this crab tank pop from the side of less than 3. They're gonna try to get a retake here, but the cracking coming from 4 of a kind might change that.
Yeah, and the Kraken didn't find that much. It's 2 players down on 4 of a kind. They're able to jump away with a splat. But Starboy is completely isolated. Less than 3 is going to take back control over mid, which right now, with their advantage, is pretty sweet for them.
Yeah, and, you know, it's very interesting how mid plays. Zuka gets 1 on the side of less than 3, and 4 of a kind is trying to push back in here.
Yeah, we see more trades coming in. Can 4 of a kind take control right now? They're dodging the crab tank, and everything is thrown at them. Less than 3, making sure that no momentum can be built up by 4 of a kind right now.
Yeah, but we do see that hammer get tossed. I don't think it gets a pick there, but this might be less than 3's chance to push back in as 1 goes down on the side of 4 of a kind.
Yeah, we see both teams still looking at each other. Neither team really able to get a big lead, a big advantage that would allow them to get in. Oh, wow! everybody fell down. It's only the pencil for Four of a Kind to defend as Less Than 3 are back onto the tower, simply getting the jumps in, pushing their way forward. Pancake with the bow is not gonna stand on the tower. 2 minutes left. It looks like Less Than 3 are not trying to push again.
I was a little confused why the bow might have not wanted to be on tower, but maybe they just want to play this slow game here and just wait out the clock.
Yeah, the clock is running, and ooh, very nice Zuka on the pencil. That is a lot of momentum that is cut from Four of a Kind right there. Four of a Kind though able to win the fight. Starboy gets a trade as the tower is moving back into the middle. Four of a Kind need to keep their players onto the map, Rice.
Four of a Kind, they're trying to push for that tower, but as we said, maybe Less Than 3 is not really pushing this because they want to run out this clock, so they're playing very defensive towards that side of tower, and each time Four of a Kind gets someone in, they get picked off right away from the bow or that splash. Yeah,
I mean, Less Than 3 keep winning the fights. Four of a Kind not able to break the dam, go through. As I say that, that's 3 players down. Huge Zuka and the jump out on the last. This is the opportunity for Four of a Kind here in the last minute to get in, to get the control. Citrine gets splatted though as Less Than 3 is back in defensive position. They know that they can forfeit that first checkpoint as long as the second one is secure.
Yeah, but this is a little dangerous here. That Booyah Bomb coming out from the side of Four of a Kind. They pop that cooler. But the Viper gets 2, I think, there. And that might just be the end of the push.
Yeah, that push looks pretty dire. Starboy able to get the jumps in. It's not over. Four of a Kind are all coming in. The Kraken is chasing this tower. And Four of a Kind are maintaining their presence. They know they're going to have to win in overtime, but they're not that far behind. And comes the control right there. They're able to splat. Four of a Kind looking to get a crazy comeback.
And I think Four of a Kind barely got the lead there. I think we saw the change, and I think that was so close. Starboy being able to get those jumps and being able to stall for the rest of their team, and just doing a great job holding on to that tower.
Yeah, I mean, incredible counterplay, and Four of a Kind showing the resilience, their ability to come back. And I mean, again, Less Than 3 playing so well in most of that game, but Four of a Kind getting the 3-0 right there, have a huge advantage into this set.
Yeah, and I think towards the end we kind of, like, as I said, Less Than 3 kind of played like they were trying to run out the clock, and unfortunately on a map like this, you can't really do that, especially if second checkpoint isn't broken yet. It's very snowbally, and it's very hard to get back in. So, you know, I understand the clock being able to be ticked down is a smart idea, but I think they played a little defensive a little too early.
Yeah, that was rough. And yeah, I mean, right now, Four of a Kind can be pretty happy with themselves. Less Than 3, a team that's on par with them, but yeah, it's on them to win more games. Like, it's very rough.
Yeah, but we are moving on to Rainmaker, I believe. Yes, Rainmaker Museum. And Four of a Kind up 3-0. If they take this next game, they only need to win 1 more. But Less Than 3, again, they were very close in every single game. It's not like every game was very... It wasn't really decided until maybe the last minute, maybe last 10 seconds for that last one. So, you know, they still have a chance here. I think the more aggressive they play, the more benefit they'll get out of that by just being able to push the pace.
Yeah, it's about the pace, it's about the momentum. Right now, Four of a Kind were able to really create that momentum, but Less Than 3, as you said, we're playing the clock, trying to delay. You can't delay in Splatoon, you have to move forward. You have to get as much as you can, and For the Kind did exactly that. And now they have a 3-0 in front of them. Remember, they only need to reach 5. 2 more games is all they need, but less than 3. I feel like if they switch things up just a tiny little bit, they could get the comeback. Every game was so close.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll have to see maybe a comp switch, maybe again that approach switch of playing a little more aggressive will lead to more of a opportunity for them. But we actually see a Forge Spotter Shot Pro coming out on the side of Four of a Kind.
Yeah, For the Kind, that Forge Pro has a bomb. Is very good at stopping the Rainmaker. Between all of his tools, that it has the mid-range weapon, the bomb, the Booyah Bomb, the Forge can really stop the Rainmaker in its track. And right now, the Forge is already down as less than 3. Again, they like to open strong. They like to get momentum at the start. Now, can they keep the momentum for the whole game?
Yeah, that's the real question we have to answer here. But, you know, they're getting these early picks, but 2 do go down on the side of less than 3. And Four of a Kind just kind of push this aggressive pace.
Yeah, and we see both teams still facing each other. For of a Kind lost 2 players, but still has a lot of control over mid. They'll get the jumps in. Less than 3 trying to push forward. Gibbons is going to be punished, but they're still in that fight. Both teams have been looking at each other. Nobody has grabbed the Rainmaker in more than a minute now.
Yeah, each team just going for those picks early on, and I think that's pretty smart. You don't want to grab Rainmaker very slowly, but that's 3 down on the side of less than 3. Four of a Kind has an opportunity to push here.
Yeah, they push and they get to the checkpoint. They break through it. Less than 3 now in defensive mode. Gibbons running in with the Reef Slider, not able to find much, and there's a shot in there trying to extend the lead, but it looks like Less than 3 will defend and push Four of a Kind away. Now they need to get the Rainmaker back in there and to get forward.
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be dangerous. 1 down on the side of Four of a Kind, and less than 3 trying to push for that right side right now.
And we see teams fighting, but Gibbons is already down. The Hammer is getting attacked left and right. He's not going to find much as Altalira is dancing around with that Wiper now out of ink. But yeah, that's the end of the run right here. For the Kind. Oh! Yeah, that was a bit presumptuous, like you were not gonna get much from that.
I think they were just trying to get some type of points. Maybe that mentality of being able to push in will pretty much help them be more aggressive here. Again, I think the name of the game is aggression. As I keep saying, we see that Zuka coming out from Four of a Kind. He's been unable to get a pick, but I think the rest of the team is trying to push up with that.
Yeah, and right now, it's we see Four of a Kind. It's their turn to wait. They're sharking to the side. They're waiting for the mistake by Less than 3, and Less than 3 just lost a player again. Here comes the Booyah Bomb. That's Four of a Kind pushing forward. They don't have the Rainmaker, but it looks like they're pushing anyways.
Yeah, Four of a Kind pushing pretty aggressively. The Rainmaker is picked up. They need to be careful. This Reef Slider. Ooh.
That was a very nice Reef Slider. That's going to allow Less than 3 to take back control. Now remember, a minute and a half, and they still need to break through the checkpoint.
Yeah, one side already has that checkpoint. Four of a Kind trying to go for that checkpoint break again, but that's going to be the wipeout on their side.
Yeah, Four of a Kind absolutely taking control of this game. Less than 3 not able to get much. They are defending their platform though. They're not letting Four of a Kind extend their lead yet, but Mango is getting in there, is trying to push forward, moving in. Here comes the Hammer to stop it. Not that many points scored by the Four. Now Less than 3 need to push.
Yeah, Less than 3 needs to push pretty aggressively here, but I think someone tried to flank for their plat, was taken down, and Starboy trying to hold mid on their own right now, just trying to, again, doing what they did last time, stall mid until they can get jumps in.
Yeah, and less than 3, they know what they need to do. 30 seconds left, they can't afford to lose too many players. Pancakes dancing around behind that pillar, protecting themselves. That Rainmaker provides a lot of range, a lot of power, but Bazooka is crushing dreams right now. As for the kind, they know what they want. They want one more game. With just 10 seconds left, they're cleaning up. And it's a 4-0 for 4 of a kind.
Yeah, that four of a kind going up 4 after that win. And, you know, the Rainmaker didn't really travel too far in general in this game. And I think it's just how scrappy these two teams are. They're constantly fighting, constantly trying to push for maybe mid control, but it's that constant fighting back and forth that didn't really push the objective too far.
Yeah. And honestly, at the start of this set, it really felt like these two teams were evenly matched. But right now, in this game, it really felt like less than 3 were second guessing every move. And 4 of a kind felt invincible, constantly trying new things, constantly getting more fights, and it's paying off. Less than 3 needs to have a fiery speech by their coach or something to really switch up the momentum.
Yeah, but even then, I still think there were some very good plays coming out from less than 3. It didn't seem too desperate at certain times, but I think maybe sometimes picking up the Rainmaker a little too early, or maybe a little too late when the opportunity isn't there anymore.
Yeah, a bit also of less than 3 waiting for the opportunities instead of creating them, the way 4 of a kind were able to do right there. Now, this next game, Rice, could be the last.
Yes, we are on match point for the side of 4 of a kind. We're going to Mahi Splat zones. I think this is a very balanced map in terms of a lot of people really like playing on this map. It's once that water level drops, you get a pretty nice and big map to work around.
Yeah, because there's flat ground and elevation, there's ledges and open ground. Like, there's so much for so many different weapons. Whatever your playstyle is, whatever your favorite weapon is, you'll have something to do on Mahi Resort. And it's also, which means it's going to be decided by the team coordination. Everybody will have something to do. Can the teams do it together?
Yeah, and I think we'll have to look at less than 3 again with that Reef Slider. This is a map that you could cap the zone with Reef Slider, so I think on holds for 4 of a kind, they need to be looking out for that Dread Ringer if less than 3 does decide to bring that back out.
Yeah, lots could happen. It looks like all teams are ready. Let's go. There's 4 match points for 4 of a kind. And now it's on less than 3 to win everything if they want to stay in this game. They've shown that they have enough to beat 4 of a kind, but they need to do that for the whole game. And 4 of a kind are bringing an Explosher for Splat zones.
Yeah, and we do see that Dread Ringer come back out again from less than 3. Expo, I think, is a very strong pick on this map. It contains so much and from so far.
Yeah, it is incredibly good, and it applies a lot of pressure right there. Both teams just lost. One player was still in that opening fight as less than 3. Again, they open strong. They know what to do. At the start of the game, Gibbons getting one with the Reef Slider, fighting to get a second. As 4 of a kind are forced in their spawn, it's going to be less than 3 that drop the water.
Yeah, less than 3 getting a really good hole at the beginning here, but 2 do go down on their side. This might be a third. The third goes down, and it's just a bow left to defend.
Yeah, and Starboy right there with the Splattershot Pro is able to maintain the pressure with Booyah will help delay the next push by less than 3. Oh, so does that pick. That's 2 down onto less than 3. 4 of a kind again. Holding incredibly strong, punishing, and being deep into the spawn with 2 players. It is going so fast, and less than 3 are in such danger right now.
Yeah, and we even see the Exflow push that far in. They do try to use that splashdown, unable to get a pick, but again, might have just used that as a distraction. The does not cap the zone, and this Exflow's getting pushed back here.
Yeah, and it's 3v2 again. Penalty was not applied for the kind, able to keep the zone. They get it back. Less than 3. Nothing is working for them right now. They really need to push in. Here comes Booyah, and less than 3 right now only have a few more ticks to stay alive. 4 of a kind dancing around the zone, waiting. And they are gonna take it 5-0.
And what a complete turnaround! Even just after that first hold that less than 3 had, 4 of a kind really, again, pushing that pace, going very aggressive. I'm not sure if all of them needed to play that aggressively, but I think that worked out in the end because it made it so 3 of a kind had to use more resources onto the plat compared to the instead of the zone.
Yeah, I mean 4 is more than 3, and we saw 4 of a kind get through, and I mean 5-0. It didn't look like it would be a 5-0 at game number 1, but 4 of a kind really got better and better as they were playing, right?
Yeah, definitely. And yes, it was a 5-0. But a lot of those games, except for that last one, could have went onto the side of less than 3. And I'm interested to see how the rest of the season works out for less than 3, because I think they have a very strong team, and they play very well. It's sometimes that aggression and maybe the hesitancy to push in is really what slows them down.
Yeah, in the end. They waited, they hesitated. You can't do that in Splatoon. They have the mechanics, they have the fight in them, but 4 of a kind had more fight today. That's going to be our first set on the night. Rice, I believe you're going to stay on the mic. I'm going to dip because I have to prepare my own set later.
Yeah, of course. And Pat, where can the lovely people find you? Maybe besides on the stream later today.
Yeah, well, you can find me on Blue Sky. It's written right here, Pat Tom. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching me. See you later.
Season 1 of the Stronghold Beginners Academy is coming to a close. This time around, we've created 15 new teams and given them guidance, mentoring and coaching throughout the last 2 months. You may recognize some of these teams from LUTI or LU level tournaments, but you're probably wondering, who are the teams? How good are they? Well, we're glad you asked. This Sunday, we will be hosting the Academy Showcase event, where you can watch these new teams compete against each other for the title of Valedictorian of the Stronghold Beginners Academy, and even a Sendu badge. So tune in to our livestream on Twitch and YouTube at 2 PM Eastern Time, where you can watch these teams duke it out. We hope to see you there. It'll be a good one, trust me.
We've had plenty of great Splatoon locals that took place in 2024, spanning all across the United States. Champions have been crowned from coast to coast, the Great Lakes, and the South. These winners, however, never had an opportunity to face each other. What if in 2025, we took this to the next level? Introducing the Splatoon LAN Championship Showdown, a tournament where the winners of our favorite locals can face off in an online 8-team double elimination tournament. The best part is, you have an opportunity to play. In the early months of 2025, 8 locals will act as qualifiers for the LAN Championship Showdown, including Big Dapple in New York City, New York.
The game!
Bouillabaisse Bay in San Jose, California. Chai Shoals in Chicago, Illinois.
Pretty hard though. Yeah, it's like that.
Gatorland in Gainesville, Florida.
It's just, oh, it's a wipeout, and that might be 8 points.
H-Town Splashdown in Houston, Texas. New England in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, they fell off the. Oh my God!
Sea Battle in Seattle, Washington.
It's a wipeout.
Sunset Surge in Arizona. Win at one of these locals, you get an automatic bid to participate in the LAN Championship Showdown in April 2025, streamed on Splatoon Tourney. Be on the lookout for advertisements from the local closest to you regarding their qualifier. Who will come out on top?
This has been Sunset Surge 2024. This has been the most hype I've ever been in a long time. Well, I'm happy to hear, man. I'm happy to hear.
Introducing the Splatoon LAN Championship Showdown. A tournament where the winners of our favorite locals can face off in an online 8-team double elimination tournament.
Oh, I think they get it. Oh, that's the game. That's monkey. Oh my God.
Come at me.
Introducing the Splatoon LAN Championship Showdown. A tournament where the winners of our favorite locals can face off in an online 8-team double elimination tournament.
Kick down the clock, all 4 of them.
2, 1, that's it. Put one behind the toilet. Can they get something too?
The best part is, you have an opportunity to play.
Oh!
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 That's all the marbles! Wake up!
Oh my God! Oh! Oh!
Oh, that's a lot of control. He might just get it here. They don't
allowing
get it.
them to
Just
take the lead.
Barely. You're gonna get blocked by the
You gotta go! You gotta go! No!
It's up to Red to recap the zone all on her own. And they get
Just
it!
like. Welcome back.
Nobody's got
down
the
the zip caster, gets 2!
He gets 2.
Who will come out on top?
Introducing the Splatoon LAN Championship Showdown, a tournament where the winners of our favorite locals can face off in an online 8-team double elimination tournament.
And the Tri-Strike King too! With Kronos coming in and following up with the third, that is the wipeout going with 10 seconds left to go!
Hello and welcome back to LUTI Week 2 on Dapple's Production. I'm Rice. I'm here with my co-caster, Frosty. Do you want to introduce yourself, Frosty?
Hello. I don't know why it's not really showing me on the on stream right now. That being said, I'm Frostix. What's it called? I'm stoked to be casting LUTI. It's my first time on mic for LUTI. Really interested to see what Custom Hydra and Revenge have in store for us here, Rice.
Yeah, these two are, I believe, this is a Division 6 set, so, you know, a little closer to that, what we see, you know, in lowing competitiveness between teams. I think we're just getting into the set right now. I'm interested. A team called Custom Hydra, will they have the Custom Hydra?
I mean, I've seen so many teams and so many different tournaments still commit to their name bit. Off the top of my head, I can obviously remember Wavebreaker having at least making sure they have one Wavebreaker weapon. Surely, Custom Hydra specifically. That's gonna be a interesting bit to commit to.
Yeah, Custom Hydra, interesting weapon, has that splatter color screen, so it might be interesting to see more people try to play that special, but we are getting into it, and no one on Custom Hydra has the Custom Hydra badge. Will we see it? We do see a heavy Splatling, but that's definitely not the Custom Hydra.
At least they have the Splatling. I think it definitely is like an interesting weapon, pretty maybe awkward to play around considering this is Mako Mart zones here. Of course, it can take good advantage of the stacks, but especially if you're the Hydra being chased down by Tarek here on the S-Blast, it will have a little bit of difficulty. No one has capped zone yet. We are in neutral. It is a numbers advantage on zone with the decap as well as the bamboo, at least fighting it out, duking it out with the S-Blast. The S-Blast has gone down. The bucket as well as the shot are going onto the scene. It looks like they have a numbers advantage onto the zone. Reset will pop these strikes. It's going to flush out the rest of Custom Hydra out here, but no one has capped yet, Rice. What is going on? I lied.
Yeah, no one with the cap, but Custom Hydra getting that first cap, 2 down on the side of Revenge, and Custom Hydra trying to set up this lockout situation. They have to be careful of the S-Blast on that stack.
Yeah, you definitely want to watch out for that S-Blast. I think the stacks of Mako Mart is where a blaster can play well, especially considering if you're S-Blast, if you're Tarek here, you're making good control of the map, allowing yourself to just kind of weave in and out of these tricky, really tight hallways over on Mako Mart here, and it's looking like the lead has swapped in the favor of Revenge. V-Trucks will pop the Zuka. They will get the shot out, the decap on the side of Custom Hydra. Can the rest of Revenge bank off that?
Yeah, it's pretty tough here. They're going down 1 here on Custom Hydra. Not a lot of space taken with the specials being used, but this might be a good hold for Revenge. They use that tri-strike to get it, to try to go in. The decap gets taken down, and this might be the lockout continued on the side of Revenge.
Especially considering Tarek has that Booyah Bomb ready and charging. That is a zone flip just waiting to happen. Or, oh yeah, no, the zone is just still so predominantly controlled in blue. This decap is trying to flank here. They're going to take out Crash Out. That's no sodas on the side of Revenge here. And it's looking like this decap is providing enough distractions necessary for Custom Hydra to start acting here. Not enough time, though, as Revenge will get this knockout to take game 1.
Yeah, you know, I think Custom Hydra had a really good beginning in terms of their hold, but just unable to really get a good retake onto the side of Revenge. And Revenge just doing a great job holding onto that zone, holding pressure against Custom Hydra, and just playing that zone at the end of that game.
Yeah, exactly. Mako Mart is obviously all about controlling the stacks here. I think Revenge does have a lot of weapons that can make use of not just only controlling the stacks, but controlling the amount of ledges. You have the S-Blast, you have the V-Bucket. They can basically take full advantage of a lot of the ledges on Mako Mart. That being said, we're past Mako Mart. We're leaving the grocery store. Did you manage to catch what our map 2 was, Rice?
I believe it was... Oh, there we go. Clam, Blitz, Scorch. Thank you, Jerian. But I probably should have known that from the last set. But, you know, Rainmaker, Clam, Blitz, Scorch has that tall pillar in the middle. So, you know, a lot of the mid fight will be fighting for that top mid and then trying to push towards the elbow of your opponents and then just breaking through that section of the map.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that. I think the weapons of Revenge were definitely a lot more all-rounded here. They could at least play and fight in a lot of the areas, I think, not only in Makeup Art, but now in Scorch Gorge here. Especially, I'd say that, how do I say this? I don't think the decav was on Revenge, but they did have the S-Blast as well as... They had the S-Blast, they had the V-Bucket, and they had the V-Shot here. Those are just really all-rounded weapons. They can just kind of play not only at the mid-line, but also in the front line, especially considering the Clam basket in Scorch Gorge is really, really tight. It's close quarters, you can kind of go down to a lot of different things.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, the decav on the side of Custom Hydra will be a key player into this map. This map has a lot of those corners that the decav can swing around, and you're not expecting that. But I'm interested to see just how Custom Hydra, they had that Swiffer. I don't think we talked about that, but how that Swiffer and heavy dynamic will really play out on this map as well.
Yeah, I feel like that Swiffer Zipcaster could have a little bit more movement options here. It just depends to see what Custom Hydra is going to bring out. That's a ballpoint and a wiper and a L3D.
You think that's the H3D? They actually run this double bubble comp, which will be really interesting to really see how the approach holds on this map.
Not only double bubble, but we're running 2 swords here, and if I know... speaking of swords, Truck's already gone down as the first pick of the match. We already have 1 bubble ready on the side of Custom Hydra. I think this is in the hands of that H3D here. I think they're just trying to get a good angle, but they are going to get contested by this bucket. They are just trying to look to get more clams. No one has built a power clam. They're on the run from these Zuka shots, and I think it's a Booyah Bomb also being charged. That's 2 down on Custom Hydra, but only 1 down on Revenge. The bubble's being popped here. They will get Crash Out. I think that's going to be 2 there. I'm going to get XOXO here. And now Custom Hydra has the means to get a little bit more clams in for a starting push.
Ooh, but the H3D gets taken down there. I have to say that mini bubble was very funny, but very impactful actually. Just letting them be able to stand there and get those 2 picks. But this might be pretty tough for the side of Custom Hydra to hold, as Revenge is going in for that counter push. Decav does go down, and they have to try to find a way back into mid.
But you always need to watch out for that hammer, especially considering its recent buffs. Trucks will take out Crash Out here. They will take out Tarek as well. That's 2 down on the side of Custom Hydra, but Trucks is in a difficult situation. They are going to go down to the Zuka. The Inkjet is going to come out from the ballpoint here. It does not look like it can get any targets. Reset is within its range. They will take out Reset. That's no stripes for Revenge here. It's definitely a decisive duel. That's actually 3 down for Revenge. But Custom Hydra does not have a power clam. I lied. They will get the power clam. They will throw it into the basket, breaking it. Can they get a solid enough lead?
Yeah, they want to hit that under 60 mark if they can. They do get the 65. The ballpoint has a couple more clams. That's under 60. They have that bubble to sustain, and this camera might just try to go in for more picks.
Roxy's looking to get that throw. Can they get from 3? Get XOXO and Reset. This wiper is popping up, and more clams are just flying in from Custom Hydra. They're going into 32 now. That's a very strong early push if you're Custom Hydra, and they're still going. 23, 20 into the 10s. They're stopped at 14.
They got it all the way down to 14. This decav does have a couple more clams. They're trying to go for it. It's under double digits, and they just need 1 clam to win this game.
Final clam here. Can they make it in? Can they? They can! Holy crap, Rice! What a Clam Blitz match!
Yeah, what a close... Not close. What a very interesting opening between the 2 teams. They were pretty much having a stalemate, but then once Custom Hydra got 3 picks, got that wipeout, they exploded into a score and just went from 0 to 100 in 1 push.
Real quick, real fast, I think Custom Hydra managed to match the aggression that Revenge was bringing to them in that first game here. Of course, like you said earlier before the match started, those 2 bubbles were really vital here. It allowed a lot, basically Custom Hydra to score without the risk of being shot down. But even when the bubbles go down. They're running a lot of light weapons here. The decav, the wiper, dare I say, even what's it called? H3. Yeah, even H3D has a little bit of mobility to it here. Game 2 will go to Custom Hydra. It is 1-1. Our next map is TC Shipshape.
I just want to give that H3 a shout out. They hit some crazy one taps. Much respect for that weapon. I do not know how to play that gun. But yeah, moving on to tower control on Shipshape. I don't really know what to think about this anymore, because you know that first game was pretty in the favor of Revenge, but then game 2 Custom Hydra really came back and said, I don't know what you guys think, but let's just KO this real quick.
I mean, if anything, that double bubble comp that Custom Hydra was running, I feel like it could be really useful considering the amount of firepower Revenge has. They have a lot of lethal displacement specials, they have Tri-Strikes, they have Booyah Bomb, they have Ixuka here. And having those 2 bubbles on tower could potentially allow them to at least cruise a little bit past a lot of vital checkpoints that Shipshape has.
Yeah, for sure. As me and Pat were talking about in that first set, Shipshape tower control can get really snowbally, especially after that second checkpoint. Once you get past that, it's very hard to stop the tower.
Exactly here. And now we have no more time for analysis. Game 3 is on Shipshape Cargo Co. Tower control. What will we see this time from our 2 teams here today?
Dude, yeah, Hydra. Actually, is that the custom version though?
I think that's Custom Hydra, right? Oh no, it's V Hydra.
It's a regular Hydra, but Custom Hydra does stick with that double bubble comp as we talked about earlier.
Definitely that will be useful here, especially since Revenge has still stuck to that tried and true comp that won them game 1. If anything, I still feel like they have the confidence to win game 2, but they are going to go 2 down. Meanwhile, Custom Hydra is also going 2 down. It's just the swords left, but that's 3 down on Custom Hydra here. This decav is very deep into the backline. They're dueling with this pencil here. The pencil's going to go down here. No tower. The tower has not been moved up until now.
Yeah, but it's a little tough. Oh, I think that bubble actually got crushed by the tower. But it was really tough because the decav from Custom Hydra got the pick. But there was cooler on the side of Revenge, so they're back fast and they're able to stop this push really fast.
Oh, but that Hydra will cancel out that Zuka here, and will start charging a Booyah Bomb straight into Tarek's area. Tarek's gonna go down. The Tri-Strikes are coming out from Revenge. This will displace Custom Hydra a bit, but V-Trucks is in there like swimwear. They're gonna be facing up. They will get XOXO with that Hammer Toss. I just love how Hammer Toss has just been buffed this patch, Rice. And now Custom Hydra has reached checkpoint 1.
Yeah, and this might be a very strong push for Custom Hydra, but that I think that's the S-Blast gets the pick onto that wiper and trying to push for that tower right now.
Oh, but Custom Hydra is 2 down here. The decav, I think, specifically pushing a little bit too far for their own good. That being said, the L3D does have that bubble ready to go here, especially considering that the firepower is now being concentrated on the bubbles coming out, but the L3 will go down here, and the rest of Custom Hydra is starting to retreat, especially considering the rest of Revenge are starting to push forward here. They're moving past mid onto their side of the first checkpoint here. XOXO does have the Ixuka ready to go. The Tri-Strikes are coming out from the bucket here. V-Trucks is in a tricky situation. That jump could be Kent, but Custom Hydra needs to get this push stopped fast.
Yeah, and they do get 2 down here. They're trying to break that checkpoint. Checkpoint is broken by Revenge, but that's the tower stopped by the Custom Hydra.
Booyah Bomb will come out here. That will take out the Decapitator. That's 1 less bubble for Custom Hydra. They do still have the L3 for the bubble. The Hydra is going to go down to Tarek. Tarek's going to go down to the L3. The L3 does have the bubble ready to go here. And especially now that you're approaching checkpoint 1 once again, that'd be a really good time to deploy it, as a lot of firepower will start to come out from Revenge any second now. The specials look to be almost ready from Revenge. It's only a matter of time here. The L3 does not want to go down though.
Yeah, the L3 is just holding a lot of space here with that wall. Gets that 1 tap onto the S-Blast and trying to just hold even more space here. They have the bubble ready. They might try to activate it. There's the bubble, but the decav riding the tower. Second bubble out onto the tower. That's going to be more points on the side of Hydra.
And that double bubble is working! It blocked all 3 Zuka shots for the Hydra. The Tri-Strikes are going to come out. from reset though, and that's definitely a good spot to pop your strikes considering how close quarters this entire thing is. The Hydra will pop the Booyah Bomb point blank, and they will escape even when they're a Hydra splatling Rice. Custom Hydra is closing in on the third and final checkpoint, or the second and final checkpoint.
Yeah, they're approaching the second checkpoint, gets taken down by that S-Blast. Decav takes them off, and they're just gonna be this big distraction on the side of Revenge, but gets taken out pretty fast.
Yeah, and now it's Revenge's turn to stick to their name and try to get this game back with 1 minute, 24 seconds on the clock and counting. That being said, this L3 is standing on business. They want to make sure that Revenge gets no space here. They will go down to a Burst Bomb from the S-Blast. V-Trucks is looking to get some picks here. The Hammer's not ready. They will go down to this S-Blast. Tarek is now starting to pop off and lock in and get going here. Custom Hydra is looking to be going down to the Booyah Bomb, but two have also gone down from Custom Hydra here. There's 1 minute left on the clock, Rice.
Yeah, this is such a back and forth fight in mid right now. Truck trying to get a pick there, gets taken down, I believe, from that H3, and this is just gonna be an advantage for the side of Custom Hydra.
Now, if anything, Custom Hydra doesn't really need to push any bit further. They just need to duel to their heart's content. And if anything, they are good at dueling. The Hydra will take out the bucket. The Booyah Bomb's going to come out here. And XOXO just needs to run right now. The shot will survive, but before getting taken down by the Wiper, there's 22 seconds left on the clock here. Revenge needs to act, and they need to act fast.
Yeah, Revenge needs to be careful here. There is a bubble ready for the side of Custom Hydra, and they can just try to hold it for a good defense at the end here. Or the Hydra is close to that Booyah. There can be that GG Booyah.
That being said, though, there's two down on Custom Hydra here. Revenge needs to get going as overtime is going to start, but V-Trucks is going to go down here. Revenge has a very long way to go. That being said, they do have the firepower to basically lock Custom Hydra back in. The Tri-Strikes, the Booyah is coming out, the Soda's coming out too here. Custom Hydra needs to stop this push. They need to stop it fast.
Yeah, Custom Hydra, I want to see the Hydra trying to paint for that special. They do have the Booyah already. That's two down on the side of Revenge, and that's the wipeout.
And that, with a very decisive overtime push, Custom Hydra will take Game 3. Rice, what a very stellar showcase from Custom Hydra here.
Yeah, you know, this game was a lot more of a back and forth between the two teams. Yes, Custom Hydra had that amazing push towards that beginning, but, you know, Revenge did try to get a couple pushes in, just unfortunately gets stopped early enough that Custom Hydra can just hold on.
Yeah, exactly. That double bubble comp, like you said, has been extremely helpful for Custom Hydra, especially considering the amount of specials that both bubbles can block here, especially considering that one bubble, I think, specifically the L3 is using the bubble to get a lot of safe duels. Meanwhile, the Decavitator is using the bubble to basically shield the Tower Rider here. Making sure that you're multifaceted is definitely something that Custom Hydra has a little bit in spades here.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, you mentioned how the two bubbles are being used in different ways, and I think that's what really differentiates these two weapons as well. You know, when we think of weapons, we think of their roles in terms of how they play, but how also their specials are being used really leads to how the rest of the team will follow up in with the specials.
Yeah, especially. I definitely say that the L3 as well as the Wiper like to take the front line a bit more, and I think having that bubble as a shield deployed by the L3 allows the Wiper to get a little bit of moment of brevity, because coming from someone that plays a Caps and a Wiper, you can never be still, in my opinion. You gotta like constantly keep moving and make sure you're not kind of caught out of position here. And having that bubble just allows you to have that little bit of defense within that moment, allows you to kind of stay still and kind of be undercover here. Meanwhile, I'd say that the the Decavitator's bubble really helps out that Hydra splatling when it's riding the tower.
Definitely, and it just lets the Hydra, you know, especially against that pencil matchup, the Hydra can kind of just stand inside the bubble and try to contest that pencil without really being afraid that, you know, the pencil is just going to outrange them and they can't do anything there.
Yeah, exactly. It also helps when the offensive roster of Revenge starts popping out those lethal specials that I keep kind of rambling about. They're running I guess we don't even have any more time to analyze. We're going into Rainmaker, Museum, D'Alfonsino, can we potentially see a comp switch up from Revenge this time around?
We do see the same. Actually, that's a Kraken heavy Splatling, but very similar comp coming out from Custom Hydra. And on the side of Revenge, we see that Vacuum Charger actually.
Not just Vacuum Charger, but their Soda option is now being covered by NZAP here. So it could be. We could be seeing a lot more aggression coming out from Revenge, not a lot of, like heavy firepower from their specials here. The Soda's going to come out from XOXO here. It really just depends on which team can, I guess, like, get this get, like, a lot of early picks in first, because since the Rainmaker's up on that mid-spinner here, it makes them a very, very obvious target, and V-Chucks will be the one to pick up this Rainmaker, and will go down to the surprise Suction Bomb!
Ooh, and it's just this custom heavy left to kind of fend for themselves. But, you know, it's a heavy, it can pretty much defend itself once it gets their teammates back, and the try to get off from Revenge. And this is gonna be a pretty good push for Revenge. But as I see that 2 down go down, I believe to that wiper on that flank.
Yeah, V-Chucks has just been wiping the floor with Revenge's ink here, and now finally, Custom Hydra can get that slam onto the first checkpoint. Here comes one of the bubbles out from Custom Hydra that will block the front lines a bit here. That second bubble is ready to rip from that Decapitator here. There are 2 down, I think, on Revenge, but that Soda buff, like you said earlier, can just allow them to get back into that fight sooner, especially considering the Rainmaker will be right at their front doorstep.
Yeah, a little unfortunate from Custom Hydra. I felt like they could have gotten a lot more points there, but no one grabbed the Rainmaker. They do have it now, but only a couple points off of that checkpoint, and this S-Splat, being quite the menace, gets 2 down there.
Yeah, S-Blast can work really well on Museum Dafontina. There's a lot of ledge work that, that Tarek can work with. That being said here, this L3, once again, is just landing those one-taps that it really needs. That's going to take out both the S-Blast as well as the bucket here. Meanwhile, XOXO needs to make it through mid here, but they are noticed, I think, by what looks to be the heavy as well, I think, as one of the swords here. That's V-Chucks as well as the Decapitator. Noticing the Rainmaker, that hammer's gonna come out. It will take out XOXO before being traded off by the Rainmaker explosion.
Yeah, that hammer from that wiper is so strong. You know, as we said earlier, that new buff with the splash damage on that hammer can actually get picked. And we're just seeing it here. It's doing such a good job making opponents have to run away from the hammer.
If they need to run away from anyone right now, it's this L3 here. They managed to take out the NZAP here. They will take out the Rainmaker holder. I think they have the Charger in their sight, but the Charger will back off here. Do not want to mess with a weapon that can one-tap you from mid-range.
Yeah, this H3, I think, again, what an impressive play on the H3. They're doing such a good job holding space and maneuvering around their walls and bubbles when they need to. But, you know, they're kind of alone here. Maybe just kind of stall as the side of Revenge had to pop 2 or 3 specials just to get rid of them.
Exactly here. I will say, though, the VAC could be a very underlooked special on that side of Revenge here. It could potentially negate a lot of that firepower that the Custom Hydra has here, coming from, say, the Wiper or from the H3, like you constantly say here. It's just kind of a back and forth brawl here in mid here. No one can kind of get out of mid, and now the Booyah Bomb will be tossed by Tarek here. The H3 will go down before being tossed by Bubble. Crash Out, it has the back ready to go here. That can provide a little bit of having a little bit of more damage onto the the upper spawn platform of Custom Hydra. The Rainmaker will go down, though. It's like I said, no one seems to be making it out of mid.
Yeah, it's such a stalemate in mid right now. Tarek's getting that pick on the posture. They're gonna try to get that pick onto the Rainmaker, gets the pick, and we just see here it's just the NZAP in mid on their own.
Now, but this NZAPs isn't going to go down without a fight. They will take out the HD before being taken out by that Wiper here. They did have the Soda as well, I think, here. And now V-Chucks is still brawling here. They will take out Tarek. The Hammer Throw will not claim any targets, but they have reset in their sights here. And if there's anything Wiper's good at, it's finding and it's tracking and eliminating targets here. They almost got Tarek, but they did get a double pick for themselves here. They still hold a very hearty 46 leads to 86.
Yeah, for sure. And we just see here Custom Hydra playing onto that plat. They do have 2 bubbles and a Kraken ready. First bubble getting used by that H3. Kraken coming out to make a little bit of space for their team. and this decap just has that second bubble ready on that checkpoint.
If anything, I just feel like Custom Hydra is just styling at this point here. That entire fight that happened earlier, no one even bothered to get the Rainmaker. Could this be a very vital decision? No, it's not here, and that Rainmaker reset will seal the game, and Custom Hydra will take this.
Yeah, Custom Hydra going up, I believe that's 3-1, right? Is that 3-1 now?
That is 3-1.
Yes, 3-1 in the lead. Just 2 more games on the side of Custom Hydra. And as we said, once they pivoted to that double bubble comp, they were doing such a good job either cycling bubbles or being very aggressive on how they position themselves with those bubbles.
Exactly, yeah. They at least are making sure that, what's it called, at least the bubbles are each covering a specific part of mid here. That way, they kind of just create pseudo choke points, in my opinion. That is really interesting coming out from Custom Hydra.
Yeah, but I'm interested to see what Revenge wants to do here, because, you know, that back charger, I thought it was a great idea, but unfortunately, I think they weren't really able to set up with, I think, with V-Trucks on that wiper. Every time, I think, just flanked behind them, and they just weren't able to get that charger into a safe position to hold space.
Yeah, if Vac has any glaring weakness, Vac's kryptonite is a Splatana, and Custom Hydra has 2 of them.
Most definitely. But we are switching on to Splat Zone's Mahi Mahi. And if we remember, Revenge did take the Splat Zones game earlier on in that set. So I wonder if Splat Zones will be a lot better for them in terms of holds, just because they don't really need to push in too far to really get a good lockout.
Yeah, if anything, we've seen how oppressive Revenge can be with their special usage, and specifically, I guess, within zones here. If anything, now is the time for Custom Hydra to learn from their mistake from Game 1, try to adapt to what Revenge could potentially bring out. If anything, will they stick to that Vac as well as frontline cooler comp with that Zap, or will they return to the pencil as well as the V-Shot?
I think maybe the pencil, just because of how strong it is on this map, but you never know. But I am interested to see if Custom Hydra, again, if they stick with that double bubble, or maybe they go to something different. And as I say, they do stick with the double bubble, and I think that is the vanilla Hydra as well.
So, Custom Hydra is using their TC comp. Meanwhile, Revenge is going to use their Game 1 comp here. I think this is definitely where these two teams, these comps are kind of like their primes in a sort of way here. And already the Decapitator will go down, the Sword will go down, and the zone is being heavily painted in blue. Revenge will take first zone.
Yeah, and Revenge needs to be careful here, as, you know, if Custom Hydra, but, you know, Revenge can be very aggressive here if they want to hold a lot of space, but that's a trade from the S-Blast. That's actually a pick down on the Hydra, but it's just the Decapitator left on the Custom Hydra side.
And even when the bubble's being popped out, it's only the Decapitator left here. The water level will drop down. It's going to allow, I think, the front lines from Custom Hydra to have a lot more movement space to work with here. If anything, Revenge needs to be on their toes. Make sure that no flanking swords are in their wake.
There was a flank, but as we called it, he did catch it out pretty early. That's going to be a zone contention and the flip. Penalty points on the side of Revenge. Custom Hydra needs to stabilize here to try to get a good hold.
That being said, Custom Hydra does not have any specials at the moment, but I don't think Revenge is making it out of their spawn here. But V-Trucks has a duel with XOXO, but it's a 2v1 with that Hydra laying in wait here. They have Tarek in their sights here. Tarek will pop the Booyah Bomb here. They will go down, but the Booyah Bomb will come out. Zone is now in neutral. Reset is on the scene. The soda has been thrown in by the pencil, and now it is just anyone's zone here. Reset will go down. It's a trade here. Zone is still in neutral, but it will get capped by Revenge. They still hold the lead 31-69. That's nice.
Yeah, Custom Hydra gets that cap. They're gonna try to make a lockout situation here. We see the strike coming out from Revenge, and they're trying to push back into mid, but just duels on each side of the map. The Wiper wins their duel and throws that hammer onto Smite.
If anything, V-Trucks is hungry for more here. They're just spamming this ledge here, looking to potentially get Tarek. They are going to potentially get a hit onto Reset. The Booyah Bomb is going to come out from the Hydra Splatling here. And if anything, Custom Hydra is starting to do what Revenge did to them, making sure they can lock them out.
Yeah, we see this again, this H3 playing so aggressively, and I think that's been what the X factor for Custom Hydra is. But 2 down on the side of Custom Hydra, and that's the zone flip for Revenge.
Now Revenge needs to start upping the ante on what they already have done. Watch out for the Decapitator from the back line that will take out XOXO. They have Crash Out in their sights, but Crash Out will jump back here. And now with no one left in mid, Custom Hydra will take back the zone once more here. You need to get out of a 35 penalty point to get to that 31 lead. The lead is attainable for Custom Hydra, but Revenge still has what it takes here. They just need to get this zone back and start holding it once again.
Yeah, definitely. They do have a bubble ready and that Booyah Bomb. We see V-Trucks gets the pick onto the cluster. XOXO pops Bazooka, but great timing from that bubble on the side of the H3, and that might be the zone, might be the lead flip to the side of Custom Hydra.
If anything, there's still one more bubble laying in way here. The decal will pop it on high ground here. That could be a little bit interesting. It's obstructing the pencil queue. That being said, there's 2 down on Custom Hydra. Revenge now has Soda Buff here. They need to start going in, taking the fight to Custom Hydra, but this H3, once again, is not going down without a fight. They take 3 down for Revenge here. They are 2 things left from a KO, and they will take that KO, taking game number 5, right?
That was game number 5. 4th win on the side of Custom Hydra, and what a momentum swift it's been. They lost that first game and came back and won these next 4 games. You have to wonder, was the shift to the double bubble what they needed in terms of just being able to be as aggressive as they are right now?
I definitely say that the double bubble allows them to be a lot more aggressive while still staying safe here. If anything that we've seen from this Mahi Mahi match, god damn it, this Miku's throwing me off, man. Anyways, it's allowing them to take a lot more, it's allowing them to still do a lot of their dueling game, but allowing them to be a lot more safe with it. We've seen this H3 and this Decapitator just holding down the lines here. Meanwhile, their Wiper's just in their lines.
Yeah, and we saw like a pretty big flank from that Decav in the middle of that game too, and that's kind of what gave Custom Hydra the ability to retake so fast. They had just everything behind Revenge, and it was very hard for them to really clear out the backlines.
Yeah, exactly here. Especially since a lot of the weapons on Revenge like to kind of play either, what's it called, at least within the midline, maybe a little bit more to the front if you're, say, the shot or the bucket here. Allowing, like, the weapons that Custom Hydra has can just kind of just storm the midline here, taking out vital weapons like, say, the bucket. That means no more strikes. The X-Blast, that means no more Booyah Bomb. And if they can get a pick on that pencil, that's no soda.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, Custom Hydra is doing all of this without, as we said, the Tacticooler. They're not respawning as fast as Revenge are, but they're holding space a lot faster and a lot longer compared to Custom Hydra. And I think, you know, that comes down to good usage of those big bubblers and also that H3 with that wall.
Yeah, and especially considering that their backline and maybe also primary painter, that Hydra here, they're still just providing so much support from that backline, the amount of firepower, the amount of time that's spent firing from that Hydra Splatling here. I don't want to say that it makes up for the amount of, I'd say, backline pressure or supporting potential that Revenge has, but it can, it can still provide at least enough for Custom Hydra to work around.
Definitely. And again, I want to shout out that H3 because they got so many crucial picks there towards the end and even in the middle of that game, and what they're hitting these shots with very good precision, and you know that's not something we see every day from we don't see H3s every day, but even when we do, we don't see that every day in terms of the H3 has really good tracking onto what they're doing, and then they're also, you know, H3 is kind of the hybrid between, I'd say, a support and that midline presence of they can paint a lot but also be pretty aggressive.
Yeah, I think that's what we saw a lot of them do, a lot of what that H3 did, I think specifically within that Clams match, and a lot within this Zones match here.
For sure. I think we had a bit of a host switch, so, you know, we're funneling everyone back into the room. But as we transition to our next map, Custom Hydra does have match point here on Clam Blitz Barnacle.
So we're back on Clams here. We did previously see Custom Hydra take a 0 to 100 sweep from their last Clams match, but this time we're on Barnacle and Dime here. Once again, it's a lot more open compared to Scorch Gorge here. I'd say that the swords have a lot more area to work around, but I think Revenge has a lot more space to cover as well.
Yeah, I think this is a very dangerous both Decavitator and Wiper map in terms of just so much flat surface for the Decav to slash through, and then the hammer is gonna. I think the hammer is gonna be a very good distraction or entry tool for the side of Custom Hydra, as again it's very flat, so the hammer doesn't have to go through a lot of elevation.
That being said, though, I think I'm not sure I remember which co-caster said this, but I feel like Barnacle and Dime Clam Blitz is one of those Clams match where you kind of have to win 2 big team fights in order to get going here, especially considering how big the map is here. You got to win 1 team fight in mid in order to get towards spawn, and then once the team respawns, you got to start fighting them at their Clam basket as well.
Yes, most definitely. I think, you know, it's very tough too, because you want when you're pushing, you want to try to push for that top left area in your opponent's spawn, because that's how you keep the push going. That's how the push sustains itself. But if you only get that single Clam in without really getting any space in terms of whether it's that top left, whether it's snipe, that's not really gonna be a sustained push compared to teams that can clear out those spaces.
If anything, negating space is kind of what Custom Hydra needs to do here, because once Revenge has the space necessary, they can start wreaking havoc with the amount of range that their weapons tend to have here, as well as their specials.
Yeah, I think we're still waiting on one more player, so just a little more stalling from us, as always. But I'm interested to see if maybe Revenge maybe changes their comp a little bit. We did see a change on Rainmaker, and I'm not sure if that's just a Rainmaker only pick. Maybe that was a museum only pick. I'm wondering if any of them would consider changing to another weapon, or if they want to stick with the guns that they've been playing the whole day.
Vac on Clams is a very interesting pick. I feel like Vac shows up specifically more in Rainmaker a lot because it can kind of take advantage of the bubble here. But N-Zap, I feel like, could be a little bit more feasible if you're on the side of Revenge here. That it will kind of alter the way that your Soda is deployed coming from the mid line as compared to the front line. But it wasn't just Hammer that was buffed this patch. Zap got buffed once again. It has a little bit more fighting power to it.
Yeah, definitely. As someone who plays Zap pretty often, or I can't really say that anymore. I don't play it as often as I used to, but you know, you can kind of feel that buff. You know, I think all the shooters did, the short range shooters got a bit of a buff, and it's not super noticeable right away, but as you play it a little more, you can kind of feel that, man, it's a little bit harder to maybe engage with these shooters. And I'm wondering if that NZAP buff is gonna lean towards Revenge, maybe going towards that NZAP again, or maybe going towards another short range shooter instead of the splatter shot.
That's true, yeah. A lot of their fighting power kind of came from their vanilla splatter shot as well as their S-Blast here. I think it really just depends on like what could work for Revenge, because we haven't really seen them switch a lot here. That being said, if Revenge does manage to get this Clam Blitz match down on their belts here, we're gonna go into TC Inkblot next, followed by I think that's Undertow Rainmaker, and then finally if we go into game 8, 9, something like that.
Game 9.
If we ever do go to game 9, it'll be on Umami zones.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, it's if Revenge is able to get a win on Clam Blitz Barnacle, that might be that momentum shift, as I said earlier, towards Revenge. Maybe they can start stockpiling those games up towards the end, but Custom Hydra just needs to win one more game for them to win this set.
They've been really oppressive this set here, Rice.
For sure. I think we're still waiting on one more person. Maybe someone's having connection issues. Maybe someone got called to do something. But you know, why don't we talk a little bit more about maybe tower control Inkblot? You know, we never know if we'll get to that map. You know, it doesn't hurt to analyze it a little bit more.
Of course, of course. That being said, though, it because Revenge has the vital specials that can basically displace an entire team from an entire area. Meanwhile, Custom Hydra has the 2 bubbles that can at least allow them to not only stay alive on the tower, but keep pushing it down in the front line here. And especially on a map like Inkblot, especially once you go past that really, really crucial first checkpoint here, you got to start like calculating how you're going to execute the push moving forward.
For sure. I think if Custom Hydra is able to get a very strong push like they've been getting, the double bubble will be very hard to push back into on the side of Revenge. But I think, as you said, Revenge has these explosive specials, these GG specials, as we talk about. But, you know, the GG specials don't really do anything unless you have that push and that lead when you need to get to that end. So I think Revenge, if they're able to get a strong early push, like they did on that first Splat Zones game, they might be able to take away another game from Custom Hydra. But again, it's that part of Revenge needs to get that first strong push in.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see potentially a little bit more fighting power coming out from Revenge. I said earlier that a lot of their frontline pressure comes from that V-Shot as well as the S-Blast. Those 2 weapons are really good at dueling. Well, maybe not dueling, but applying that frontline pressure. But against what Custom Hydra has with Wiper, H3, with the Cavitator here, they appear to be pretty outmatched.
Yeah, I think it's just the speed that Custom Hydra is playing at. It's quite shocking how fast they get into their spots and try to take down their opponents. But I think we're finally getting into this Clam Blitz Barnacle game. All teams are starting to ready up in terms of what they want to do. What do you think the game plan for Custom Hydra, or Alex, I guess let's go for Revenge first. What do you think their game plan for Barnacle Clams should be?
If anything, it's what I felt like I kind of I guess mentioned it a bit within that Mahi Mahi match, but they need to at least do what like their weapons can do and control the space here, especially considering Custom Hydra has a lot of weapons that benefit from having a lot of space. Negating the amount of space within Barnacle and Dime is really important here, and I think their weapons could have the potential to do that. That V bucket. I think as well as that shot here can kind of, as well as the pencil, of course. Pencil has amazing paint output here. So making sure that you can have a control of space first and foremost would be a potentially really good idea.
For sure. And I think, again, part of that base holding is being a lot more aggressive in terms of how they push. I think when they do push, they want to be holding as much space as they can. And that includes maybe spacing out a little bit more, using their specials to get people in, like using that Booyah Bomb to get that Splatter Shot in, using the Tri-Strike to get the S-Blast in. Just pushing forward with those specials when they are being used.
Exactly here. And since, like you said, those GG specials are really important here. But, of course, those GG specials need to have the, They need to have a little bit more... it can't just be the GG specials that define the fight here. It's definitely a good thing to initiate a fight, to close out a fight, but you need a little bit more substance aside from that here.
Definitely. But we are finally getting into this game. We are on Clam Blitz Barnacle, as people... Barnacle? I've heard both people say it both ways. Ooh, but we do see a 52 gal, I believe, on the side of, is that, I think Revenge. The 52, yeah.
Meanwhile, Custom Hydra's Splat Link has now gone to to Ballpoint once again here. This is our second time seeing Ballpoint, I think, for Custom Hydra. Now it really does just depend on whether Custom Hydra can get that that space needed. The gal will go down. The Decavitator is looking to potentially get that pencil down on their sights. We see the Decavitator, they will go down to the pencil, and now Custom Hydra does have a Power Clam in their possession, but Revenge is looking to have a little bit more control of mid.
Yeah, and that Gal has that opening gambit. I think they got a little bit more time on it, but they are taken down here. That's 2 down on both sides, and the Decaf trying to get onto their stack, but gets taken down pretty fast there.
That being said, Crash will throw that Clam into the basket. They're going to get this break. The Booyah Bomb is going to get thrown in by Tarek. Reset is looking to, of course, do what Buckets do best and cheese out those ledges here. They will toss 2 Clams, potentially they will toss 3. 2 more Clams are coming in from Tarek. They have 1 more left in their hands here, but they're being faced down by the Decav. They will go down, and now they will get to 59 though, 56 here. They are at least halfway through their points, and Crash Out is already at another Power Clam.
Yeah, Crash Out going back towards mid to get more Clams. We saw that hammer get thrown. We see the kind of push forward here. S-Blast gets taken down by that H3, and again, that H3 holding so much space with that big bubbler.
Anything, what's it called? Custom Hydra does have a one, at least, do they actually have a possession? No, they don't here. And if any, oh, they actually do now. The ballpoint has made that power climb. They do have the pity climb lying in wait here. But I think Revenge is finally looking to control the space here. They're at least holding them at mid. The Inkjet has come out from the ballpoint that will take out the S-Blast. The Hammer is going to start stamping in here. It's going to force Revenge to back off a bit, respecting the space that the Hammer brings here. That's already 2 down for Revenge here. The holder of the power climb, V-Truck, is going to go down. The bubble will get popped, and the barrier will get broken. That's a power climb going in from Revenge. It's 60 points here. That's 2 more Clams, and they will take lead here thanks to that bubble from the H3.
Yeah, that bubble being really well cycled, and that's going to be another Power Clam jump in. That's going to be a score to 19 for the side of Custom Hydra, and Revenge needs to push their advantage here pretty fast.
They definitely do here. And if anything, Custom Hydra's already waiting for them in mid here. The strikes are going to come out from Reset. This will definitely flush them out if they can get them onto stacks here. The Decaf has gone down, as well as the S-Blast, and Reset is just looking to play within mid, trying to get at least a little bit more picks for Revenge here. But V-Trucks is already pushed up here. They will go down to a direct from that S-Blast. Tarek will go down to the Decapitator as well. It's now a back and forth in mid just to see who can break out of it. Reset is holding the Power Clam. They will take out the H3. That being said, a Power Clam is being created from Custom Hydra here. Revenge has to go a really long way to get to 19 in order to take back lead.
Yeah, and they need to be careful. V-Trucks here in their backline has that hammer. They do get 2 with the hammer, gets taken down with the Booyah, but that's a lot of space given up by the side of Revenge, but they finally get back onto the stack.
Yeah, especially occupying the stacks is, I think, is Revenge's game plan here. M looks to be providing a lot of good dominant control with the amount of the amount of paint output that that Gal has. And now the Gal is moving in. They're being assisted by the strikes. The Soda's ready to go here. Crash Out just go in, but they're going to go down. M has no one to back them up. They're going to be taken down by the Wiper. Reset has the Power Clam. We're going to go down, but the Clam is going in. I don't think anyone is there to throw anything into that basket, Rice.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how I feel about that Power Clam score, because there was no follow-up and there wasn't change to the score, as there still is a lot of penalty left. And that just gives the side of Hydra an extra penalty plan.
Yeah, they will get the pity clam. The hammer throw will take out, I think, 2. They managed to take out Tarek as well as the pencil. And now Reset is looking to be under so much pressure from V-Trucks, from the ballpoint Inkjet. And now Custom Hydra is storming the front once more. The power clam goes in. The barrier is broken. It's just left to M and DX Crash Out to guard the rest of the basket. That being said, the bubble's up. M's gonna at least take 2 on their belt here. But a power clam is built. I don't think anyone's left at the basket though.
Yeah, no more people at the basket, and I believe that was their pity clam. Maybe they wanted to try to jump that in. Not enough time, but they did lower their score a little bit from 19 to 12. And this is the last 8 seconds for the side of Revenge. They need to start pushing their advantage now.
Yep, it's do or die, and all the specials are coming in full blast from Revenge here. It's a final hurrah. M is moving in. Tarek's going in. Tarek's gonna go down here. M is looking to make a mad dash, but they're gonna get shut down by the H3. And it's just left to, I think, Crash Out, but they're still providing the jumps here. The Booyah Bomb's being thrown out. Overtime is almost over. They need to get that power clam and a lot more clams in, but Revenge just can't break through. And Custom Hydra, 5-1. Will take the game and the set.
Yeah, you know, Custom Hydra lost that first game, but came back, swept through for the next 5 games. You know, I believe that's what people call a gentleman sweep. But they do go up in set wins with, I believe their record now is, I want to say 2-0. No,
true.
Sorry, they lost their first set last week. So their set in LUTI, their set record in LUTI right now is 1-1.
Interesting. This is their first. Is this the first set of this season of LUTI?
This is the second set. This is week 2.
Okay. Is this their first set win though, right?
This is their first set win, correct?
Okay. That is a very good, very, very stellar showcase from Custom Hydra as well as Revenge here. Man, I'm running out of words to say for these guys.
Yeah, you know, maybe I'm glazing them too much, but that H3, I think, was the X factor in terms of how Custom Hydra played. Because we know the Viper's going to play aggressively. We know that DCAV will also play aggressively. But that H3 playing as aggressive as they were changed a lot of how Custom Hydra really approached their fight.
I mean, also not to glaze, but you did say that it could have been that H3 alongside that double bubble could have been that X factor that Custom Hydra did, and I feel like the moment they switched to that H3 in game 2, that's when they just started showing up. That's when they started to get going.
For sure, but that is the end of our cast. There are still 2 more LUTI sets happening later on, I believe. We should be getting into one real soon, but where can the lovely people find you?
The lovely people of Twitch chat and the internet can find me on the site formerly known as Twitter at TK_Frost6. You can find me at Blue Sky at Frost6.bluesky.social, at Discord at JustFrost6, all lowercase. And I don't have enough voice left in me to plug my web novel. Anyways, Rice, unless you've already pinged yourself last time, where can the good people of the internet find you?
Yeah, everyone can find me. You can see on the screen right now. It's one word, We Like Rice. Where all I am on social media, Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky. You can find me on Splatoon Journey as I stream for the LUTI set there and also run a local LAN on Splatoon Journey. So until next time, stay tuned for more LUTI sets, but that's it for us.
Stay tuned.
Producing, apparently. We're not flipping the zone. Come on, guys, we're not flipping the zone. Information a bit more control. Hydra just bowling and hello.
Give more players power clams. That's exactly what's happening. So they got them all in. Oh my goodness.
Get ready for the next battle, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and everyone's in between. My name is SPF Darko, coming at you live here at Dabble Productions to bring you another LUTI set tonight. Now, before I get too ahead of myself, though, I am joined by with someone else here today.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sasu, and I'm here to help give some insight, help commentate on this very exciting Div 7 LUTI set we're gonna have going on here. Fun Buns XD versus Amendabobos.
Yeah, a bit of a mouthful of a name there, Amendabobos, but you know, surely it won't mess anyone up here in this best of 9 set. But yeah, I'm very much excited to see exactly what these two teams will be going in. A little bit of a fun insight note is that Fun Buns' own Pat is also part of our Dabble Productions coronation team here. But before he would say anything else about that, and we're heading straight to game number 1, Splat Zones on Mako Mark, a map mode that I very much like seeing.
Yeah, I'm interested to see these loadouts we're about to see here. I think we see decaf on both sides, and interestingly enough, we have that Nautilus. Usually I would sort of frown upon a Splatling on a map mode like this because it is so vertical, but whenever I'm complaining about how heavy edit goes, here I always say, unless you're a Nautilus, you're just not going to want to do it. So of course that Nautilus is going to be able to keep its charge as it swims up those stacks, but already we see both of these teams going back and forth. Of course, Fun Buns getting an early lead, taking control of this zones as we have this Wiper here on top of the stack and really clearing out this area, and members of Amendabobos moving back, giving up that space, being very patient as they take it back. And Fun Buns only getting a 76-point lead means that things are looking just about even right now.
That was a very good back and forth between these two teams. Now 76 points remaining from Fun Buns. That lead got swapped over to Amendabobos, as now they're having a 66 points and counting, with Fun Buns trying desperately to get that zone cap, or at least get it neutralized so they can fully cap it. And they do get it capped, trading out with a hammer on the right stacks over there, as Amendabobos is forced to back up at least a little bit, while Fun Buns trying to take over mid, trying to see if they can seek out any remaining members from Amendabobos. And with a jump out, I believe that's relinquish their hold here in mid, as Fun Buns are not going to be on the offensive, trying to push them back and keep them pushed back as far as they can.
Yeah, that was a very impressive sidestep we saw there from the hammer. Of note, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of hammers, perhaps from both teams, but of course right now from Fun Buns on that that Wiper there. Seeing as though the hammer has received that buff, you're going to be seeing it a lot more in comp, but you see right now a bit of a neutralization of the of the entire zone. You see a very punishing slash from that decaf, able to get that pick, but with 2 members down on both teams, I think you have Afro TY here calling for backup up against members of Amendabobos that are up in that top left section, and I think that right now they're kind of looking to just kind of take that space, and it is going to work out for them, but only momentarily speaking, as that is a delayed wipe for Fun Buns. So the ball really is in Amendabobos' court to see if they can keep Fun Buns down and staying down.
And with those penalty points pretty much virtually non-existent, they're able to actually start taking down the lead, taking down the points once again to hopefully swap the lead here. Tactical are online, Ingzuka out to get a very crucial pick here. Lead has been swapped, and now Fun Buns are trying desperately to use whatever specials they have at the ready to get it, push it, but no, the hammer goes down, the bubbler goes down, and a 2-for-1 special with the decapitator means that they have the opportunity to make that 3 before finally going down. That's the swap you need to see here if they want to try to make anything, but Amendabobos hold strong with only 10 points remaining. I don't think they're going to be able to swap it in time, as Fun Buns unfortunately getting the huge lead here and loses this game.
That is painful to get, 3 people down and still not able, unfortunately, to cap that zone you needed desperately. And quite frankly, usually once you get the picks, you get the zone, but just not in this situation. And that is going to be a win in the books, 1-0 for Amendabobos. Fantastic job being able to stabilize that zone, even beyond 3 of their members going down at the end there. There's the fantastic on that replay, that sidestep. We see very skinny moves there from Fun Buns.
Yeah, I mean, Fun Buns, they really are showing that they have a lot of going for them, and man, it's just seeing this unfortunate 3K go down, and the Nautilus really did save their behinds here from Amanda Bobos as they're able to just hold on with the Nautilus is not a painting weapon, mind you. It is a very highly aggressive, a slaying weapon. Not really known for painting, but the fact that they were the only members standing there at the end there, and they were able to keep zone contested long enough so they can write out that victory at the very end. I gotta give you commendation for that, because man, oh man.
Listen, Dark, like you said, Nautilus known more for its slaying than its painting, and that's exactly what it did. It slayed the last person left there for Fun Buns, giving them the win. But I think the next one we're going to be heading into, if I'm not mistaken, is Clam's Scorch Gorge. So I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing any changes in terms of these comps, or if there's any information sort of gathered by Fun Buns that's going to really help them with the switch into this map mode. What are you thinking?
It's definitely a lot of the up in the air, you know. This being a best of 9 set, the first two games, you can kind of afford some just playing around to see exactly what the enemy team is be doing and just trying to like amend as to your game plan and trying to really figure out what's going on here. And I don't believe there's any major changes at all. The only really main one is the ends up over there from Amanda Bobos on their side, but relatively across the board, it's still a similar comp. So I don't think they have any playstyle changes from both ends, and I'm eager to see exactly how they're going to be doing and how they're going to be performing here on this new map mode.
Well, as you saw, I think that is on Team Fun Bun. Was it Team Fun Buns that has the member Risky Fart on their team? And Risky is right, because I'm recognizing here that Fun Buns is actually coolerless. So they're going to have to be working very hard to make sure that they are not going down and that they are capitalizing properly off their picks. And unfortunately, that is not going to be the case right now. We have a bubble up from Amanda Bobos, which is going to fortify this push they have going here already at 50, which is a very solid number. As people tend to say in comp, when you have a push, you're going to want to get past that 60 point to make sure that you're not giving the other team a power clam in vain. You see a really strong push, but also a fantastic hold. Once again, we're seeing from that Nautilus on the side of Amanda Bobos.
Yeah, that Not really is putting in a lot of the work here, but they do unfortunately go down to what I believe was that tri-strike, and now Fun Buns has the opportunity to at least go on the advantage and reclaim some Clam economy here, but Fun Buns goes 2 down once again. Amanda Bobos keeping this an even game, even playing field for both sides. Nothing really gained or lost from both ends. It's just a bit of a stalemate here, and even though some might be okay with that stalemate, it's definitely in the favor for Fun Buns to give that 50 point remaining on a single push. You have all the tempo control here. You can play as fast or as slow as you can. So stalling out Fun Buns is a good opportunity, is a good chance here to just try and time them out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with Amanda Bobos, you're able to kind of put this stall, if anything, sort of hog up that Clam economy on a place like Scorch. It can be hard to come by clams, especially, this basket area is so constricted. So once you go in there, you're going to really want to go with all the clams you have available there. So, of course, Amanda Bobos with that 50-point lead is going to want to sort of stall, bide their time. You see them getting that cooler as well, not to mention the trade outs we're going to be seeing here are not going to be equivalent. Like we said off the top of the game, Fun Buns, of course, going coolerless. So if they're able to stall just by trading out, really it's more on the side of Amanda Bobos. We see a really strong pick there from their side. And once again, like I just said, not an equivalent trade due to cooler. We have a bit of a showdown there with those two those two decapitators and a crab out trying to take that space to finally make that push, and the hammer going out. And I think this is going to make the first score there for Fun Buns.
Good first score, 62 points remaining. Can they get it down to even closer to that 50-point mark? I don't know. 59 points remaining against a 50.9 point differential. It is very good off of a single push, but if it takes you this long to get that push going, it might be a little bit of trouble here for Fun Buns, especially with Amanda Bubbles going in immediately, locking in on that final player remaining, getting the power clams necessary for the next power clam basket push here. And with Tactical Online, they're only contesting that lead once again to try and widen the gap even further. As I say that, 1 minute 30 seconds remaining, they already broke through their penalty points and now extending that lead.
Yeah, and even worse, as you saw, they were able to put down that cooler before they made that push, meaning though several of their members go down, they are able to very quickly go in here. Though 2 members of Amanda Bobos going down, and that's actually going to be quite big. They're going to have to lock in here and make sure they don't stagger because they do not have really a sizable lead. All it's really going to take is like maybe 2 power clams, and they're already going to be in a position. You see 2 of them sort of sharking right next to each other, a double do they know sort of thing going there. A really strong sidestep there from Afro TY, unfortunately not able to make their way out of there, but both of these teams are going to have to focus on stabilizing because like we saw with that other push, if you're able to wipe the other team or at least get them to stagger, even if you yourself have made a really healthy push, if your team wipes, the amount of time it takes you to get back to your basket is just not enough, and the other team is going to be right under your basket with the clams that they need. But right now, Amanda Bobos looking to make it even harder for Fun Buns to come back and widen their lead. You see several members jumping in, but that aforementioned wipe I just mentioned, so they are now going to have to race to their basket and make sure that Fun Buns can't make a proper push in time to close this lead, especially with 10 seconds remaining.
2 power clams on the field right now. Amanda Bubbles 1 player down. We will be seeing overtime right now, but it's gonna be a very pressurized one as both teams are now down 1 player. Amanda Bubbles getting their final player jumped in to get ready for this push. 15 seconds gone by, only 15 seconds remaining. Try to clear the area to go and run and get that power clam deposited, but no, 3 down from Fun Bun means Amanda Bubbles holds strong and takes game number 2.
Absolute critical pick from Arwen there. I think perhaps in some ways MVP of that game, really being steady as sort of a pseudo backline almost, being very careful to stay alive and also use their range to their advantage on that map there. And yeah, just really strong gameplay in keeping their lead from Amanda Bobos, because quite frankly, I thought that Fun Buns might have been able to close the gap there with those strikes we saw at the end and them walking with them. But, you know, I gotta say, their Nautilus Arwen was able to just really lock in, stay steady, and make sure that at the end they were able to get that pick there on Fun Buns, which was going to be the kiss of death for them in this game.
Yeah, I think everything was lining up perfectly for that overtime victory for Fun Buns. I think it generally just came down to just the micro misplacement of those final ink strikes to get the proper cover for your players going in to get that power clam deposited. And it's just an unfortunate thing because there's tiny stuff like that where you really can't control, because throwing ink strikes, it's an art in all honesty, and having the proper precision to cover exactly where you need to cover is a lot harder than you think. And so it's the tiny things like that really makes it hard to make it those like last minute victories there. But I still gotta give it to Fun Buns for at least attempting it, because that really was truly their only play to win out there, and I respect the decision making.
Not to mention, it's very difficult to throw those in such a perfect pattern when you're dealing with this small area, when you're going up this ramp, and especially when you're in overtime, and misplacing those strikes can mean losing another game. You do not want to go into your set 2-0. Unfortunately, that is going to be how it is. Going into Ship-Shape Tower, which, as we know, is a very snowbally map. So this is really going to take a lot of mental for both of these teams to lock in and make sure, especially, I think, no, it's only going to be Fun Buns that has those GG strikes and something that can like really finish the game off in one go. So both of these teams are going to have to be very patient, not stagger, and make sure that they're able to get the lead as soon as they can. But unfortunately, it is already not looking good for Fun Buns. We have a tactical jump out there. You see from the last member remaining, Daniel, of course, doing a little bit of ledging to put on that pressure, because as we know, once you get to that second checkpoint in Ship-Shape, that really is the kiss of death there. So you see several members of Amanda Bobos really trying to secure their way to that checkpoint in question.
Yeah, that first checkpoint, it's early on in the path where it doesn't really matter if it stays up or not, just buying maybe a little extra time, but like I said, it's early on in the path there, it's probably going to go down eventually, inevitably anyways, and really, it's this area leading from the middle point, from the first and second checkpoint onward to that second checkpoint where you really want to try and defend and really have to have a hold stronging on. Fun Buns going down with a one-for-one trade on the right-hand side of the map, but now they have the bubbler in front of the tower, which is crucial here to getting the most value of that tower, of that bubble. And when they wipe out, Amanda Bobos gives no signs of opportunity for Fun Buns to come into this game with anything and taking this clean to it a knockout.
Listen, when we said that this is a snowballing map, we were not joking. And it's... when I'm brought up mental, it's because things like this, it's very easy for them to happen. And sometimes it's not even due to a skill diff. Of note, you know, the team that's pushing on tower is going to be the one that gets that higher passive special. So you have a lot stacked against you on a map like this, and it's just exceedingly easy for the pushing team to just really go from 0 to 100. Of course, no points put on the board there from Fun Buns, especially due to that early wipe that they suffered. So with a loss like this, especially going into this set 3-0 now, it's really going to be a mental game to figure out how you're going to formulate this reverse sweep, especially after a 100 to 0 push like that.
Yeah, what I like to think in these best of 9 sets is after that third game for either side, it's really when the turning point starts to begin, because that's when you really get a good hold on like what your enemy team is doing, what you are doing, what can we be. It's like when the plans start formulating on how you want to actually really start taking your plans and start properly executing your plans against the enemy teams. And Fun Buns being down 3-0, it's a bit of a hard place to be in here. There's only 2 games that Amanda Bubbles needs to win in order to move on with this set, claiming the set with a clean 5-0. So Fun Buns, it's a little bit stacked in their favor, but this is a best of 9. So if they can get the first game, the second game, momentum really starts rolling into their favor, and that's when things really can start kicking up for them. And I want to just go to a game 9 every single time. So I'm eager to see exactly if there's going to be any major changes here. And wow.
Listen, I gotta say, I'm not entirely... Well, I am shocked to see a bow. I'm not gonna lie. A little shocked to see this bow. But what I'm not shocked to see is a proper backline out of one of these teams. One of the things about Museum is holding the spinner, even in something like Rainmaker, can just be so useful to your team that, especially both of these teams not running any sort of pencil, they're going to need something that has the range to hold the spinner that's going to help guide their Rainmaker to that checkpoint there. But already we see that Amanda Bobos already taking hold of that Rainmaker, trying to make something early happen. Not getting that many points on the board, nothing that Fun Buns has to really worry about. And you see it. I think they're more focused here on their special economy and their special use that we haven't been seeing. We see kind of a trick shot there from AfroTY with a well-placed bomb getting a pick. But as you can see, Amanda Bobos definitely coming back with the force, trying to put on that pressure as well.
Yeah, this is a bit of a neutral stalemate here. Both sides are not letting any ground give up whatsoever. But when they run in and the bubbler on top of it, Amanda Bubbles is just gonna be able to get that first dunk instantly without any contest whatsoever. Now Fun Buns have a bit of work to do if they want to try and match that using Kraken and Inkstrike to at least clear their platform side. Not what you kind of want to pay, not the special payout you kind of want to do to get Amanda Bubbles cleared out, especially since they have a stronghold on mid here. But with a 1-for-1 trade, Fun Buns can get a bit of momentum going in their favor. But Rain and the Trizuka and there's so many specials going on right here. Amanda Bubbles is not letting anything go.
Yeah, I think we see a bit of a cheeky steal there, and points going down. None of the members able to get them down until now. Pushing it all the way down to a 10. I think, unfortunately, members of Fun Buns not watching, and with 3 of their members going down, that is going to be a very dominant dominant end to the game there. Unfortunately, maybe the bow and the switch to Gal not assisting in this game, and that's going to set Amanda Bobos up to match point.
Yeah, Fun Buns, their backs are against the walls right now for up to this point, which I believe almost every single game has been a knockout so far, which has got to put a little bit of pressure here for them as they're heading to their game number 5. Amanda Bobos, I noticed that in the early game, the minute of the 30 seconds, first minute of each game, both teams actually are at a relative neutral state that they know what each other's gonna do, and there's not really one big loss happening. It's Amanda Bubbles that eventually cracks Fun Buns and what they're trying to do, what their game plan is just able to just take a mile off of an inch, and it's so interesting to see.
So I think, especially on that instant replay we just saw there, one of the issues with that particular game is I wonder if this has a little bit of spillage due to the mental from that last game there, because I think that things were looking a little bit scattered, in my opinion, for Fun Buns there. I think, obviously, you see a member, I think, using the block, able to sort of slip past the bow there and run the Rainmaker all the way down to 10. Even in that 2-1 situation, unfortunately not able to gun down that Rainmaker that's just pushing for points. So I feel like I'm seeing a little bit of a loss of focus, unfortunately, here for Fun Buns, which is to be expected when you're down so much in a set. But I don't know. I think if they lock in, just believe in themselves and really organize themselves, they'll be able to maybe turn this set around. What do you think, Dark?
Yeah, with how the past 2 games specifically have gone from Fun Buns, it wouldn't surprise me if there is some sort of mental downfall going on. And I've said this in the past, and I'll always keep saying this over and over again. Half of this game is mechanics, the other half is the mental side of it, especially with how long LUTI sets can tend to go. Being able to have that strong mental and not spiral even at the worst of circumstances, that's when things can truly shine, and that's when you can really turn things around. And here, game number 5, match point, Splat Zones Mahi Mahi. This is a very interesting map mode, and I'm eager to see what Fun Buns is going to be doing here to try and take this back and take us to a game 9.
Yeah, so this, very unfortunately for Fun Buns, I would argue is a very strong Nautilus map in particular. So I think a little bit going on the side of Amanda Bobos, but also on the side of Fun Buns is maybe they might have some more space for a turnaround. Of course, Mahi Mahi, once you hit around the halfway point, changes the entire makeup of the entire stage. So maybe when they get a little bit more space to move about, they might be able to mount a turnaround, seeing as though everything will change at that point. And already we saw there while I was yapping, 2 members going down, but unfortunately with a flank from behind there, one of the members also from Fun Buns kind of going down there. But as it is now, Fun Buns has a very strong hold on this zone. That Zuka, I think, finding no purchase, and 3 members down total. That is a delayed wipe on Amanda Bobo. So Fun Buns definitely not only taking hold of that lead, but really come back with a viciousness up against Amanda Bobos to say, listen, we are not out of this, and a reverse sweep is very much so possible.
I'm always here for the reverse sweep, especially with Fun Buns, how they've been able to turn this game around. 30 points remaining on their side, finally losing out as Amanda Bubbles gets their specials and coordination to go for this push here, but not without losing a few players of their own. Amanda Bubbles, even though they have the current holding here on mid, so many bombs being thrown about from their end, Fun Buns are still holding relatively strong and able to cap it back from Amanda Bubbles, giving them a chunk of penalty points at the very least before trying to at least contest this here, as both of these 2 teams are playing a neutral game of footsie to try and just edge one out of the other and force them back. And I think Amanda Bobos is the ones finally respect it and are looking to gear up for another push once again.
Yeah, but I think gotta give a lot of credit to Fun Buns for really stabilizing here. It can be quite easy to stagger on a place like Mahi Zones, especially when you have things like Wiper right underneath your drop, ready to fight you immediately as you drop. But you see that the aimbot on the Zuka came here to play. 3 members down on the side of Fun Buns means that Amanda Bobos is saying, listen, we've had enough. We're just going to have to delete some of your players in order for us to kind of get moving here. And of course, that is going to hurt especially hard as Team Fun Buns is still coolerless. But 3 members going down on Amanda Bobos is going to mean an almost immediate switch of hands here in terms of the zone, putting an okay penalty there on Amanda Bobos, but they're going to have to eat through that if they're going to get anywhere near the lead. And with 2 minutes left, more than halfway through the game, even though 3 members have gone down on Fun Buns, they still have a bit to go themselves.
Oh, it's unfortunate that the junior got shot out before being able to properly jump down, further delaying this push from Fun Buns. And now they're getting picked off one by one, heavily staggered right now. Penalty points are gone from Amanda Bubbles, meaning that they're going to be ones to actually threaten the lead swap here, unless Fun Buns can pull something out of their magic hat here to try and make something work. They do go 2 down, but they do manage to backcap in the midst of all that chaos and get themselves a bit more time. Still alive in this game, not out yet. They're not going to go out without a swing, without a fight, as Fun Buns are still going with only 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining.
Listen, Fun Buns has done a fantastic job of really getting their mental under control. And despite having 2 very tough games, they are making it very hard. Unfortunately, we have a loss of lead here for them. And they're kind of figuring out their way as they take this zone back. So 2 members going down on their own team, but with a pick, they are able also to get a member down on Amanda Bobos. But with just Risky here alone trying to get something going, we are under a minute left, and Fun Buns now, after being quite dominant for a lot of the game, they are the ones on the back foot and facing Azuka that's able to take out 3 of their members with only 8 ticks left on that zone and only their dualies alive. Less than 30 seconds left. They're going to have to rush zone, make sure that they don't stagger, really lock in and see what it is they can do to possibly flip this zone. And with the crab painting zone and getting wiped out, that is going to be the end of the set. And despite a really valiant effort and a strong showing from Fun Buns, that is going to be the nail in the coffin for this LUTI set.
Man, oh man, Fun Buns were cooking something great there, getting ready to take this first game against Amanda Bubbles, who's been dominant for them against this entirety of this game, or this set. It just, unfortunately, it kind of crumbled at the very end where it mattered the most, and Amanda Bobos not letting themselves properly panic too much here against this very scary scenario for them. They were unfortunately able to just fight Fun Buns off long enough for them to be able to knock out the zone here, and man, oh man, what a good showing that was from both sides.
Yeah, you would have thought this was like a game 9 with how the gameplay was kind of going here. Unfortunately, you know, Zuka was nuked, but maybe not nerfed enough, because it does take out 2 or 3 members of Fun Buns there. And I think that's basically going to spell the kiss of death there with, you know, the amount of panic that they're going through trying not to stagger. So I'm gonna have to give big ups there to Fun Buns for sticking it out and having really admirable mental fortitude in that last game to really super give them a run for their money. That was a fantastic game and a really great set. Despite the knockouts, they were good games.
Yeah, Amanda Bubbles, they were dominant, but Fun Buns definitely had all the tools in their toolbox to fight back, and they almost fought it back to win a game off of them at the very end here. But Amanda Bubbles were just unfortunately too strong for them today, and now they take this first set on the second week here in LUTI. I don't know what their exact scoring is. I think they're both 1-0, so this means FunBuns is now sitting at 1-1, while Amanda Bobos are going into week number 3 and with a 2-0 record. So it's still early on in the season, so this game may matter. It may not matter. It's too early to tell on either end. But man, what an entertaining set it was nonetheless.
Yeah, I hope at the very least, Fun Buns is able to take this as a lesson for themselves. I say a lesson, but I hope rather than looking at this as an 0-5 set and kind of being down on themselves, people in chat, or at least for me, you can agree that they did a really strong job hanging in there. When you look at, like, for example, their Clams game, if it weren't for a few like misplaced strikes, I think they would have been able to mount a proper comeback. So as much as there were 2 games that were kind of 0 to 100 pushes, those were on particular maps where it can be easy to just knock out the other team regardless of their skill level. So I hope instead of it being like, oh, you know, we just got 0-5'd, it's like, listen, even if we're low down, we're still evil. I think that's a high level trait, to be able to organize yourselves and still keep fighting and not just, you know, fall apart at the seams even when you're down.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I see a lot of teams after that 3rd or 4th game, that 5th game, everything would have just fallen apart at that point. There wouldn't have been much of a fight back at that point in the set. But seeing FunBuns actually almost take that 5th game just shows that they have the tools, the energy to be able to fight back and actually keep things going despite all odds and despite what the previous record has been saying. And both teams, I gotta give shout outs for their play today, for showing up today and doing what they did today. But with that being said, I think that's it for this set. But we do have another set here in just a little minute. So we'll be going to a bit of a break while we get things organized. So unless you have anything, my autofill going on usual casting sessions was starting to go in there, but I was like, no, that's not right.
A few seconds, and it's like, wait, you might have like a few tens of minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
So I think real quick, maybe like a mid plug, just in case, you know, some people go in specifically to see certain things. So we hope you stick around. If you've got to go, we understand, but just in case, let us know where we can find you, Dark.
Well, you can find me at SPF_Dark on most socials without the underscore. If you can't find it with the underscore, I'm all over the place. I'm not just on social media, but also on casting organizations as well. Here, Dow Productions, CCA, some Toon Tourney, Under Pressure. I'm all over the place. You'll hear me time and time again, relatively on a weekly basis. And where can they find you, Sasu?
You can find me at Sasu in your pants. That's SASUIN, the letters UR, pants. I am basically on like every social media, Blue Sky, particularly. I have a Twitter, but I don't use it anymore. Instagram, Discord. If you're looking for me, just type that in. And if you can't find it, then I'm not there.
Well, with that being said and done, we'll be going on a little bit of a break, but don't go anywhere just yet. As mentioned earlier, we do have another LUTI set coming for you here at the top of the hour, so go make yourself a sandwich, maybe take a bit of a walk around your room, do what it is you need to do. We'll be right back after this break. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, in between. My name is SPF Dark. I'm here with Sasu. We're kicking off with our second set right out the gate. This is the same map that we just saw already, so we're going to be kicking things off with Mako Mart Splat Zones. We have Order of Fries, Oofs versus Paladins.
Yes, we are getting started. Once again, we are still in LUTI Week 2, but here we're going to be looking at a Div 9 match. Already we have Paladins with this early opening, but immediately contested there from Oof with this Reef Slider going off. But with 3 members of Order of Fries going out, we have a bit of a tactical jump out with a very unfortunate jump in that we saw there, immediately getting camped down. This Tri-Slosher kind of probably trying to get that cooler out, and they're able to do it. So now it's time for Order of Fries to really organize themselves together and figure out how it is they're going to cap zone and stop Paladin from getting this sort of runaway lead they have right now.
Yeah, well, and both of these two teams have very interesting comps. While I want to point out, we not only see a Dynamo over on the side of Paladins, but we see a double bucket comp from Oof with Dreadbringer specifically and Tri-Bucket Nouveau, which I find a very interesting combo, but I'm also eager to see exactly how that's going to play out. But Oof right here, they have the lead, or they have the zone. They're about to take lead, but not quite just yet. Paladins are able to hold on to that just a little bit to at least contest it. Both teams are fighting it out, duking it out, see who can get the paint advantage, and it looks like Oof gets the paint advantage and they take the lead.
Yeah, I think that we're seeing like a lot of, when I say back and forth, it's like you have several members of the other team down, and then that team is able to take control, and then next thing you know, we have a stray pick there on Order of Fries. I don't know how much that's necessarily going to get done for them, but with that cooler going out, you see a lot of fighting in mid here from Paladins and Order of Fries, and we're seeing quite very common lead switches here. Like I said, several members going down of both teams. We see the faded Reef Slider there out of that Dreadbringer. I'm assuming that is part of the reason why that weapon in particular was picked. And we have Paladins kind of making sure that they're not staggering, waiting for their teammates. A really classically placed Crab getting that pick there as they try and put a bit of an assault on that zone.
Yeah, very good Crab to just keep some pressure going on their side as they're just trying to get a proper footing going on for another push here. Paladins desperately trying to fend for themselves here. A 1-for-1 trade, which a little bit of BS.
That was a clip.
that was something happened there. I know that for a fact. I played games for a good chunk of my life to know something happened there, and it's always so fun to see. But now Paladins are in the lead, taking away these penalty points bit by bit. Oof, trying to use the try strike to get any contention going on, but it doesn't seem successful so far.
Yeah, neither of these teams really being able to get a sort of stronghold there. Of course, we see a classic punish on the end lag of the Reef Slider, and you can just see people are going down. Like, it is just warfare here, and right now you're seeing Order of Fries is going to have to organize and figure out how they're going to get especially their left stacks. As I always say when it comes to Mako Mart, he who controls the stacks controls the game, and with them not controlling that stack, with Paladins having such a heavy presence there, it is going to be bad for them. I'm thinking maybe, unfortunately, not that tactical jump out, and Paladins able to hold this zone enough that they stagger Order of Fries and keep the zone until knockout.
That was kind of a chaotic mess, that game. Both of these two teams were really just going in there, just seeing what happens, throwing everything at their disposal to try and get anything and convert it to an advantage in any way, shape, or form. And it looks like Paladins managed to convert it enough to get this first knockout here, even though Order of Fries did a very well job getting taken down to a good chunk. I don't know, 54 was their, no, 51 was their final scoring, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, this was the very definition of everything happened so much. It was just pick after pick, and even though, of course, we see a 0-54 in the end there was just a lot of people just dying in mid, dying close to their own spawns on the flanks. So I don't know if that's just kind of jitters maybe coming out from that first game. Both teams kind of getting to know each other. Also, this can be kind of a funky map, especially I saw an edit on one of those sides, and like we spoke about before in that last set, not necessarily an optimal map mode or particularly map for an edit. Maybe, both of these teams are like, I'm just trying to, especially with that Dynamo, as much as I saw the Dynamo and I was like, when it comes to Mekomar, I think we could probably both agree that AoE really is king on a place like that. You can pressure those stacks, pressure the drops, especially if you're up against a pencil. So I can see I'm on a stack, or God forbid, that Dynamo is on a stack. It can just rain a wall of pain on you. So I think both of those teams may be just on a bit of a funky map mode for them, and we'll see if they stabilize their comps and their playstyles in that next game. What do you think?
Yeah, as we mentioned before, the first two games, kind of just a sort of feeler as to like how the enemy team is going to be playing it out, how they're going to be trying to, what strategies they might be using, what weapons they might be using, or whatnot. So losing the first game really is more just for the information, since we really are, as mentioned before, in a best of 9 set. You really are playing the long game here, and the second game here, we saw exactly what Oof had in mind, what Paladins had in mind. I don't know, honestly, if we'll see any weapon swaps or not here. I mean, I would like to see the Dynamo again, but I don't know how good Dynamo is. I'm not a Dynamo player. I play Blasters.
Well, what I will say is a lot of people, I feel like in a thing like LUTI, a lot of the time when you see a Dynamo, it tends to be from a one trick. So I'm not going to be surprised if we see that Dynamo again and for the rest of the set. But if that Dynamo does have other things in its pocket, it may be advantageous to pull those out. Of course, we will be heading to Clam's Scorch Gorge. And I think Gold Dynamo has chumps. It's not as though chumps are completely useless in a place like Clam's, especially Scorch Gorge. Very well known for its really tight choke up that ramp, and it's very cramped space for its basket. So if you're able to have chumps down in that space, you're putting yourself in a really good chip position. So we'll see if we see any of those changes, especially I remember seeing that rapid and just several weapons, of course, that need paint, several weapons that are painting, and we do see a change over to the Stamper, and of course, I am guessing this may be a one-trick Dynamo user. So Bubble, of course, on the side of Paladins once again, but with that edit and again that Reef Slider and those tri-strikes, I'm thinking that Order of Fries actually has a really good comp in terms of getting through that choke and being able to reach that basket when the time comes.
Yeah, Paladins has with their weapon specifically, it's a bit of a more slower comp. Dynamo has a long wind-up time. Decapitator really isn't the fastest Smatana, and Heavy at it's a Splatling. The only flash weapon they really have is that Splash, but even then, it's not known for like dealing huge amounts of damage or being able to like burst people down. But already. Yeah, it's support shooter premier here, but no, it looks like Paladins is using it a little bit to their advantage, but no, 2 goes down as I say that. Oof, just holding their ground here, not letting anything go too much. They're still holding mid, not wanting to probably brisk it up as, where are these 2 players going? In the back line, the Paladins had 1 player going in, picking them off from behind.
Listen, I'm going to have to give it up to EP because we saw last set what happens when you let a sneaky, cheeky player just get from behind, and they can absolutely wreak havoc. They can get those jumps. They can suddenly spawn a billion clams and get an early lead there. So definitely we see here that the the heavy edit is going to be the pseudo backline there. I think, unfortunately, we see that Dreadringer not able to escape their fate and go down with that power clam. But now Order of Fries, despite 2 of their members, they have Epi here as the pseudo backline, giving them that space. And with a solid jump and those tri-strikes coming out, they're going to get down to 80, but unfortunately that's not going to be enough. And quite frankly, getting those points in has put them in a bit of a disadvantaged position.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see those kinds of plays happen because you think, trying to be the first ones to get those first points on the board would be helpful, but it really boils down to how you go about doing it, because if you lose all your team to get those 20 points in, the enemy team has it so they can so easily go and run in to get a counter push, but no, that's such an unfortunate thing I saw there. No. They missed the power clam and jumped away without it. That's huge for Oof. Don't get me wrong, but Paladins, that's kind of hurts.
Listen, that is all the pain of when you see someone just whiff a power clam shot and the basket goes up. That is an equivalent. Maybe perhaps it is Paladin that is feeling the oof at the moment with that unfortunate moment happening there. But piggybacking off of what you were saying, and we mentioned this the last set as well, in a place like Scorched Gorge, it may seem advantageous to get that ball in because you are granted points. But aside from the fact that you're giving the other team a power clam, in Scorched Gorge, with the size of this particular place, if you're able to wipe or enough of your members go down trying to get in that ball, the other team will have the time to run all the way to your basket and make a push of their own. So you're really going to have to be tactical with how many points you're going to be able to get in. We are already at about 1:30, and Order of Fries is on the back foot, having only gotten in that ball and been immediately punished for too many members going down. That power clam does expire, and finally we do find a pick from this Dreadringer here, kind of putting out that output. And now that we have some cooler, perhaps it is time for Order of Fries to really get a hold of the clam economy and mount a push, especially with these strikes online.
Yeah, heading to the final minute of this game, Oof really hasn't been able to have much breathing room here ever since that first push that they did. Paladins not letting anything go here in mid, and with 2 down for Oof, once again, Paladins are on the gas pedal and just letting that car ride out. Already with the tactical and the crab tank set up, they'll be running in to potentially get that power clam deposited into the basket and extend their lead even further. And what a good push this is, because they keep on going, not letting go. They go 2 down, bringing it down to 35 points. I say that's a worthy trade here, and now Oof is at a dangerous situation here.
Yeah, with just 20 seconds left, but we see that this zip is online. I think that Order of Fries is going to have to really worry about getting their specials and how they're going to mount this comeback, especially 80-35. They, I think, only currently have that power clam that they were given from losing that push. The cooler is out, everybody's coolered up and ready to push, but right now they don't have a solid clam economy. They're gonna figure out how to get up that very difficult choke and then get the clams accordingly. They cannot afford to go down, and unfortunately that Dreadringer does go down, and with 3 of their members down, even going the end, it does not register. But quite frankly, I think even if it did, not enough of their players would have been up to follow up on that power clam. So with that, that is going to be another win there for Paladins.
Yeah, that was really a checkmate scenario there at the end there. Paladins were able to just hold this mid for so long that Oof really didn't get any breathing room. That even though they were the first ones to get points on the board, it just set them back so much here that Paladins were able to contain such a huge tempo control for the remainder of this game that it's just so hard to recover from. And Paladins, they're showing that even though they're a bit of the slower comp here, they're not gonna let it go lightly. And Oof, it's struggling to push through against like this hyper, not necessarily hyper aggressive, but just like pure like pressure and presence with these very devastating weapons. If they do get set up properly, it's just very scary to break through.
Yeah, I think that quite frankly, even though this is Div 9, a bit lower level here, I think that you're gonna be seeing a lot of meta plays, even around this sort of section of the divs, and like quite frankly, I don't think you're coming across a lot of golden dynamos all that often. So I think that that's another part of this, is that like when you have perhaps a dynamo one trick, I'm guessing, my apologies if this particular player is not, I think that at least for me, I saw a lot of 1v1s with that Dreadringer and that Dynamo, and with them sitting in that like bottom left section, they were just able to combo off of their own chumps and get away with a lot of picks. So I think that a little bit unfamiliarity with this weapon is also leading to some success for Paladins.
Yeah, as taking you a bit through my own history with this game, I was once a Division 10 player, and one of the things I always got hard stuck on with my brief run in through this game was a Dynamo. I absolutely hated playing against that weapon, and it's just something I never really got learned to properly play around, mostly because I just didn't have the patience to learn the matchup, so which is why I converted to being a commentator, but that's besides the point. No, but at the lower divs, Dynamo, even maybe to like mid divs as well, Dynamo it's what I like to call a knowledge check weapon. If you really don't know how to truly play against it or play around it or play against its weaknesses, you're gonna have a hard time. And it's such an interesting weapon because I just wish it wasn't necessarily a knowledge check weapon, but that's how it ended up being designed, based off of how it in the current places with all the rest of the weapons. How a lot of more weapons are much more consistent than the Dynamo, but you don't know how to play around it, you just kind of get stuck going up against it. It's not a fun time.
Yeah, and I also think that you have the heavy edit user really working overtime on OOF. Quite frankly, I think that they're the ones that are probably in the best position to be able to take out that Dynamo. I say that personally as a heavy edit user. You have slow weapons like that, like a decav, and you can quite frankly check them pretty solidly. But I think that the heavy edit has a lot on their hands in terms of like really holding down the space for their team. So they're really going to have to shuffle up their resources and figure out who takes care of what. But we are going to be heading into Ship-Shape Tower here, and just like we saw before, this can be an extremely snowbally map. You are going to have to organize and figure out what to do against the other team, and you're going to have to do it fast, because if they break past that second checkpoint, you are in dire straits and you're staring a loss straight down in the eyes. So we're going to see, especially with that Dynamo, which has quite, I'd argue, a strong advantage here, being able to sort of swing over those stacks and rain onto the tower, especially when you're heading towards that second checkpoint. If the Dynamo's in that top right, it's going to be very difficult to make it past that point. So we're gonna see how both of these teams handle that pressure.
Yeah, Dynamo here heading to that second checkpoint is scary, not only on the defense but also on the offensive side of things, because if it's also the one riding the tower, once you're like next to those ledges, yeah, once it's next to those ledges, you know, Dynamo has a funny gimmick where it can shoot over the walls if you aim it properly, so nowhere's safe if that Dynamo is on that tower. So you really gotta make sure you can get that Dynamo in control in this game. This is I think this game 3 might have been, or game 4 might have been the crucial game in the past. I think this, for these two teams specifically, this is the crucial game here, because it's really going to show if OOF really can properly adjust to this Dynamo, or is this Dynamo just going to keep hitting them over and over again with the knowledge check.
Yeah, I think LUTI week 2 has a bit of a bomb here in the third game that kind of checks both of these teams where they are so far in the 2 sets we've been looking at. Unfortunately, we're staring down a 0-2, and like we saw before, this can be quite a demoralizing map. it can go from 0 to 100 real quick, and then you're staring down a 0-3. So Oof is going to really have to make this their map and see if they can be the ones that ride that tower down to 100. But we're gonna see if we see any switches here. We do see some pretty intense switches. Of course, that Dynamo sticking. As a matter of fact, I think the entire team sticking. But we are gonna look at a rapid and double whale on the side of Oof. So as well as a switch to Tri-Slosher, not extremely surprising to me, who plays both Edit and Tri-Slosher. This can be quite a strong Tri-Slosher map because it does have that Fizzy as a sub, and throwing a Fizzy on top of those stacks and forcing people to move back can be very strong. Of course, still having that cooler, but we see both of these teams already at a bit of a mid. That Crab refusing to back down and getting a little bit checked for it by that rapid, and still none of the teams on that mid, I think that they understand the sheer importance of that early lead there. So both teams, I think, looking to have a minimum of 2 picks before they eventually mount that push. What do you think?
Yeah, both these two teams are definitely playing it a bit more slower this time around. I did see the Dynamo going for a deep flank on the right-hand side, but I don't even know how they managed to get out, but they did manage to get out as Oof is just trying to play. I see the idea behind the comp of being like a lighter, more hit-and-run style with the brush, with the dualies, and even with the Tri-Slosher to an extent. But now Paladins having a bit more clear hold as to their game plan. They're going to be ready to fight back against Oof, and they're going in a deep end to try and push Oof far back so that they can get this first checkpoint gone. Can they get this first checkpoint gone? It's such a contested point here, but if they can get it, it can clear them up for so much more for the remainder of this game. But no, Oof managed to hold it on for a little bit longer.
I would argue Oof is really set up for success here with this comp. Not only do they have double whale, this is a very large map, and especially with tower and whale being the sort of substitute for the Splatoon to what's it called?
Why? Why? Stingray,
Stingray universal special here, and especially having 2 of them, they should be able to wreak a lot of havoc, especially with the AoE that they have. They should be able to absolutely clear a tower if you have several people riding on it, as well as this Tri-Slosher, which should be able to take out a decap, but that has not been really materializing necessarily. 2 members going down on Paladin make that 3, and Order of Fries is really mounting a really strong defense, but Splatoon, a strong defense, you know what they say, a strong offense is the best defense. So even with them not letting them sort of go through that second checkpoint and continue with that momentum, it does not matter if they do not have points on the board. So right now, with a really sick pick we see there from that decap and a really a skinny evadance and a double from the rapid, Order of Fries is finally set up to start mounting their push and maybe get some points on the board.
Yeah, this is where the tides can start turning in their favor for Oof as they're getting that tower pushed up forward. They get another pick against Paladins, meaning they're fighting at a constant player disadvantage here. And with Tactical or Online and another pick, the chumps come in, but it's not going to hit much of anything as they're able to clear that out. And the crab take comes out for Paladins. They do get a pick off of the tower rider, and that tower checkpoint hasn't been ticked yet. And unfortunately, they lose control of the tower and step back as the game is being pushed back to a mid-state, even though Paladins are now 2 down. Make that 3 down. Oof finally maintain and try and maintain control here once again. They're looking to try and get this tower properly pushed up to that second checkpoint once again.
Yeah, there are so many members down from Paladins. Of course, we have, like I mentioned before, this sort of fizzy chip that's going out from the Tri-Slosher, which you definitely want to do. I believe that is their edit player, so a player after my own heart as well there. But you do have the lead switching over to Order of Fries, them really using that advantageous comp that they have to get those points. 2 members going down while Paladins does have a lot of their specials. We have a bit of a crab fight there, and the crab on the side of Paladins is going to be victorious, getting this double here, and it's now time for them to mount their very aggressive counter attack. Unfortunately, missing that ledge, but they are closing back into the section where their points are. So if they're able to continue pressuring Order of Fries back, and note is they don't have the strongest remake specials here, but they are able to get 2 of the members down, and with 5 seconds they are staring down a crab. The crab able to get picks, but it is not going to be enough. There is still a member of Order of Fries on that tower, and finally Order of Fries is able to stop Paladin from putting their mental in the gutter with a 64-61 win on game 3.
Close game 3 that almost came down to the wire. Paladins were desperately trying to make sure that this tower at least contested the lead at the end there, but Oof's new weapon comp really put in the work here. I really like a lot of what I saw here. The double killer well, just the obnoxious chip damage from 3 of the weapons here, and the crab tank to be able to fall back on for a proper anchor here. There's a lot that went right for them here, and Oof showed that they have enough tools in their toolbox to fight back after those first 2 losses here.
Yeah, I'm inclined to absolutely agree, Dark, with that sort of diagnosis you gave. I'm going to have to give a lot of big ups to that Rapid that I saw got some really healthy picks. I think at one point maybe a double, and the Brush that together really worked in tandem with that double whale to make sure that they were able to keep on that pressure and also pressure the tower when needed. Those both, of course, being AoE weapons. So when you see that Brush kind of rapidly tap A as they run up to the tower, they're able to clear it solidly and really keep themselves in the game. So I hope that this starts spelling a bit of a comeback for Order of Fries.
Yeah, this could be the makings of something after this bit of a hump of the game 3 with the Dynamo on board. Now we're at the game 4 where it really could be the turning point for either side. This could be where Order of Fires can really get the momentum going in their sway, or it could be where Paladins can really just shut down Order of Fries once for all and just stay on top of things for the remainder of the set. I'm very eager to see exactly if they're going to be staying with the same weapons, if there's going to be any change-ups on Paladin's side, or if Order of Flies wants to keep things shaking up and make sure that Paladins don't really know what to expect heading into each game for the remainder of this set. Museum of Rainmaker, it's a very, very... I don't have the right words to describe it right now, but a lot of things can be used here. It's a map that really complements like a lot of different playstyles and a lot of different weapons, because it's I guess the proper way to describe it, it's a diverse map. You can pull out a lot of different things here. I'm eager to see exactly if there's going to be any changes to reflect that.
Yeah, interestingly enough for me, my team, I tend to be the edit player. I will switch to edit Nouveau here so that I have access to crabbing on that spinner, because noticeably neither of these teams, I believe, are running a pencil, perhaps with heavy edit stonks going up due to the pencil nerf in this recent patch. You've been seeing more teams shying away from pencil, but usually you're going to want to have that backline on that spinner, sort of supplementing the running Rainmaker. And with some teams, I've even been seeing like a V charger with that vac to set up there and really just put pressure on that plat. So like you said, there's not going to be a lot of weapons that I'm going to see and I'm going to say, why are you running that? Of course, I may... Once again, I mean, I think the Dynamo is a one trick. I think you see a Dynamo here and you do get a little bit confused. But if I see that Brush, that's going to give them a lot of mobility. That Rapid gives them really strong range and means that they can pressure that plat from that spinner. There's just a lot of things that they can use here. And I think that one thing that's going to be tantamount here is Order of Fries' backline, their pseudo backline on their heavy edit. I think that they, and particularly are quite a strong player and are going to make sure that we don't see a repeat of any sneaky tricks of people trying to go behind. We saw in that Clams game, someone tried to be a little bit sneaky and they immediately, like, you know those images where the eyes are like those red flare? Where they immediately sniped them out and they said, hey, I see you. So we're heading into the game and we're going to see what these loadouts are. These comps between the two teams have been quite exciting here. We have no changes. Surprisingly, Epi staying on that Tri-Slosher here and opting not to pick an edit. And I think we see a change to Dreadringer on the side of Paladins instead of that shot. So interestingly enough, as well as a zip brush. So we are going to see no crab on Paladins, surprisingly enough, on this map mode.
Yeah, I'm a bit curious as to what the reason why it beats not bring crab here. This is such a strong weapon on spinners, on any of the spinners from either side, and I would, if there's a way to pick brains live, I would do that, but you know we can't do that with our limited technology these days, so we just have to make do with what our guess is. But man, oof, against Paladins, this 1 minute stalemate has been just like a constant back and forth games of neutral footsies. That's an unfortunate dash there. You don't want to do that, and I think that's the kicker that they need. Tactical are going online along with the Kilowatt to go and try and get more picks off that. They're moving in quickly. Order of Fries, not wanting to let anything go. Paladins respond with their own Tactical to make sure that they can at least keep up with the pace of Order of Fries.
Yeah, actually, I'm a little bit surprised with Order of Fries able to eke out that checkpoint there. They had a lot of advantage on the other team for quite a while, and I was expecting to for them to pick up a little bit earlier with that team advantage, but they were just kind of taking their time. But I guess they showed me because they were eventually able to get that pick. Of course, that Reeve Slider able to take two people down, but immediately a crab going out to make sure that they pressure that a lead loss due to them holding that. And unfortunately, we're seeing just like before, Paladins able to pick up that Rainmaker and eke out enough points to get a very healthy lead. But with 3 minutes left, Order of Fries has quite a lot of time to get enough picks off the other team and mount a counterattack.
Yeah, this game is far from over, folks. Order of Fries has a lot of time to play with here to try and get their 58 points down to 16 at the very least. Order of Fries now with the Rainmaker in hand, is top with the Tactical are going to be looking to try and get their own push going here. Paladins do have their own Tactical, they're online and at the ready as well with their own specials being ready to use at any given moment. One does go down for Order of Fries as they're trying to go in for what I believe was a flank here, and now Paladins are just making sure that Order of Fries stay put. They don't advance any much further than they currently are, slowly giving them a bit more and more. But no, the Reslider does get canceled. On top of a jump down, 2 more picks there. I think Order of Fries has the opportunity here to at least take it up to that platform, but no, Paladins are still standing strong.
Listen, I think there's a lot to be said for patience, especially as a Rainmaker holder. Often you kind of rush in a little bit too early and you immediately get picked off, and that means that you're now in the other team's space trying to repop. It's a lot. However, I think that Order of Fries may be a little bit too careful on that push there. I think as we sort of changed positions, there was 15 seconds left on that Rainmaker, and at the end of the day, you know, when you kind of get picked one by one, it gives enough time for the other team to spawn back. 3 down on Order of Fries with just 1:30 remaining means that you have their rapid, their backline kind of jumping out, trying to keep as much space as they can. But right now, they really need possession of the Rainmaker. This brush, of course, really ambushing them. A very unfortunate jump down into the water there. And you see right now it's Paladins that really has the sort of map control and the specials necessary to check Order of Fries as soon as they pick up that Rainmaker.
Yeah, tempo control is really in Paladin's favor here, as they can play however aggressively or however defensively they want. They know they have such a huge lead here that's going to be a very hard task for the Fries to even get close to contesting here, but with the Clam taking the Tentacular online, Paladins are going to be at least having a little bit of difficulty to try and keep them at bay. Order Fries slowly marching in, but the Rainmaker going back into the corner of the map to just make sure that they can buy as much time for themselves as they can, but 2 down for Order Fries means that Paladins has the opportunity to at least play at the advantage here, but no, they're going to take it on top of the of this wall and not give Order Fries any additional opportunity, any additional chances to try and take this Rainmaker away from them. And with a deep plate, with a deep dive from Paladins on the enemy spinner, Order of Flies are struggling to get out of their own side of the map as Paladins take this game 3 on them.
Listen, we've seen a lot of complaints about this particular mode from top players especially, and I think the number one complaint is that this can be a very stally mode. Once you have that that lead there, you have no incentive to play into the other team. So of course, as we've seen multiple times on Museum Rainmaker, you have that top right that is very difficult to pressure. I think in this case, Order of Fries may have been in a unique case where they could have actually pressured and gotten that Rainmaker out of that position. They, of course, are running that double whale. So if they were able to get that special and double whale the Rainmaker, I think they would have been able to do something. But with too many sort of rats running around on their plat and court area, they just weren't able to foster that special, and that left the Rainmaker to stall it there. So this is gonna be once again another time where we see a team eke out quite a few points due to a cheeky little sneak there, and then use the stalling to their advantage.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting thing to see. Paladins, they did a very good job.
Interesting is a word.
they did a very good job. I really don't like that final part of just taking the Rainmaker up on top of that wall. I just was like, I'm taking objective out of here. I'm not finishing the statement. Anyways, game numbers of 5, I believe. Splat Zone's Mahi Resorts. I'm eager to see exactly what's going to be happening up here next. Paladins have shown that they are willing to change off of their weapons to counteract Order of Fries and what they're bringing. So the question is, will Order of Fries think that what they have currently going on is enough for this next game, or will they be swapping out weapons again here? I don't know exactly how far extensive their toolbox is, so I really am up in the air for like surprises for weapon wise, but I'm eager. Is all I'm trying to say.
Once again, I think Order of Fries in a little bit of trouble here. This once again is a strong Dynamo map because of all of the ledges. That drop can just be owned by the Dynamo. Very. Whenever you have a roller, the rollers love to live underneath those drops on Mahi. So that's going to prove very difficult for Order of Fries. But one thing I'm particularly hoping to see is Epi change back to that heavy edit. I think a heavy edit would have been particularly helpful on that Rainmaker Museum game. It would have helped with shredding through the brush and just making the other team respect their space more than perhaps you need that chip from that fizzy. So I think in a place like this, you're going to get more bang from your buck in being able to take that space and have other people back up, and not to mention being able to punish reef sliders as well. Since I think we've been seeing those reef sliders out of Paladins with them running a Dread Ringer, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's definitely a change I want to see. And other than that, they're just going to really have to take into account what about their comp is not working, and change accordingly. And what worked for them in the tower game that they won.
Yeah, I think in this matchup here, I think the one thing they might need to try and make up for is the lack of range. Yeah, they have a Rapid Blaster who is relatively long range, but it's more of a mid to long range. You're not really expecting it to outrange a lot of weapons, especially from what Paladin had put out last time. I think really what struggled them there is just closing in the range here. And as I say this, I do believe that is a tri-stringer coming out from Order of Fries to help possibly alleviate some of that range problems. But we are back from Paladins on the one, the only, the Golden Dynamo.
Yeah, I think Epi actually being switched out there, so they now have the Zap, which of course famously has received a little bit of a buff to help with its fighting capability. So perhaps there's been an understanding that they need to really buff up on their fighting, and especially we remarked earlier on about how Paladins has a bit of a slow comp. Of course, they actually. They had that splash that changed over to Dreadringer, so now having that Zap instead, we'll see if they're able to take advantage of how slow that is. But so far, it's not shaking out, as already Paladins is down to 53. But as we know, that means we're going to be looking at a change of the stage for both teams. So we'll see if Order of Fries is going to be able to play off the fact that they have a little bit more space to play with up against the other team.
The water dropping is a huge thing in this map, specifically just to be able to get that extra breathing room, the extra flanking road, the extra just painting power, and to get more specials. But man, oh man, Order of Fries are struggling here, trying to push up against Paladins. It seems like Paladins finally has Order of Fries fully figured out here, and they're just constantly keeping them at bay, constantly keeping them picked one by one, keeping them separated. Even though there is a 1-for-1 trade on the left-hand side of this map here, I don't think Order of Fries can really do too much of it. They're too spread out, too far out here, as Paladins are just playing they're playing the range game. They're not letting Order of Fries in too close. They're not letting them get too much breathing room to properly set up, get their specials going. It's kind of biting them in the butt here, as they just can't get anything going on. Now only 35 points remaining from Paladins.
Honestly, I would argue, rather than the range game, I think that Order of Fries is almost checking themselves in a little bit. I've seen several times where they're at advantage with 2 members down from Paladins. So with like 4 of them up, and the other team having Paladins, of course, only having 2 members, they should be able to pressure them. But for whatever reason, they just haven't been mounting this push. Of course, with 2 seconds left, that is going to be a straight shoot all the way to knockout. And I don't know, like several times I think they could have capped zone, but Order of Fries noticeably, their Dreadringer was painting for their Reef Slider instead of just capping zone manually. And I think that, I don't know if this is necessarily a mental block, but for whatever reason, I think, in my opinion at least, Order of Fries playing a little bit careful enough that they were almost in their own way.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say exactly what's going on from Order of Fries. It might just be maybe they just really don't like playing on this map, and it might be might be affecting it. It might just be the fact that they weren't expecting the Gold Dynamo to return once again, and they weren't prepared for that either. It's hard to say exactly. As I mentioned earlier, I wish we could pick the brains lives of these players, but we can't necessarily do that right now. But now, match point for Paladins. We're going to be heading to Clam, Blitz, Barnacle, and Dime. I don't know what to be expecting from either side, in all honesty, at this point.
Well, of note, perhaps this has something to do with it. Of course, we did see a few change of members on Order of Fries. So it's possible that those members were cold, or there was a little bit of a weird comp going on when you have the same 4 people playing most of the set, and you have somebody else sub in. That can kind of make things a little bit funky on comms or whatnot. But also, I will say that when it comes to Clam's Barnacle, most of Barnacle's map modes can be quite difficult because it can be so easy to lock out the other team. And so you have to play very careful due to how large the stage is. But when it comes to clams, because of the clan economy, because people have to go back into mid and back into spawn to find those clams to follow up, you have more space and more time to get out of your own plat if you do wipe. And it's not like Scorch where the other team can very quickly hustle to your basket and counter you once they once they do away with all of you. So I think that this is going to give Order of Fries more time to hunker down, strategize, make sure they don't stagger, and really figure out what it is they're going to do without having to worry about getting snowballed.
Yeah, I think this is another one of those maps too where like it's diverse enough where you can really put out a lot of different weapon types and playstyle types. So this could be another map, most specifically where Order of Fries tries. It's another map where Order of Fries tries to completely change up their weapon lineup again, or if they want to try and stick with something that they've done so far, and if they truly believe that their weapon comp is working for them, that they got to find a different avenue to try and make the changes they need to win this game out. Honestly, I don't think this Paladins are going to be switching off the Dynamo this one. I will put money on it here, and I will be absolutely shocked if this Dynamo leaves at this point of the stage, because you won most of the games where you brought out the Dynamo. In fact, I think all the games where you brought out the Dynamo. So to switch it out here at match point, you think, yeah, let's close it with something something we know it works and be more consistent. And I should...
You've lost your money. Give me the bucks, because somehow we are not seeing the golden Dynamo here. Instead, we are going to be seeing that Wiper and the Order. Actually, as a matter of fact, this is quite a funky comp we see on the side of Paladins. I mean, with this Dynamo, it has been a little bit funky the entire time, but noticeably, we are finally seeing that pencil from one of these teams, Order of Fries in particular. We have 3 going down on Order of Fries, make that a wipeout, and that is going to be an early, strong push from Paladins as they get 2 of those balls in already with less than a minute to go. So now it is going to be up to Order of Fries to take these fights, get off of their own plat, clear them out of this area, which is going to be particularly hard when you have a Splatling all the way up there, but they do get checked after they drop here. But yeah, this comp, I'm just staring at this Paladins comp. I'm excited to see the Forge. I myself am a Forge enthusiast as well as a Tri-Slosher enthusiast. Perhaps they've thought, listen, we are up 1-4. We can play a little funkily. We can do what we want. We don't have to worry about what we think works. Or maybe this is their Clams, Barnacle, and Dime specialty comp. But we see it's already really working for them, seeing as though they've already gotten down to 51.
Yeah, a very good opening gambit by Paladins, taking it all the way down to 51 points remaining. Order of Fries struggling to get anything going on here, but Paladins do go down 2 here. The Wavebreaker comes out to try and slow, and he pushes Order of Fries, and once again, we see another wipeout, but this time it's from the Paladins. Order of Fries are rushing and moving in forward to try and get those power clams deposited into the basket. They get one. Can they get the other? It's a very important question here, but because they have 3 power clams at the ready, they do get the second one. It's going to be the question, can they get the third one and take lead here? Going in with the swim again. They do get that third power clam, and they take the lead once again.
Yeah, absolutely masterful gambit from Order of Fries. Let me calm down a little bit, because that was quite the skinny move with Order of Fries able on, I think, I think it was the pencil that was able to get in that last one. We have a flank going there from Order of Fries, but Paladins really standing 10 toes and deciding not to really do anything with it, as the heavy kind of keeps the space, waiting for the rest of their team. 2 members going down on Order of Fries, meaning that it may be time for them to mount a push, but it is just not fast enough, and already Paladins is going to be taking this lead with 3 members going down on Order of Fries. Of course, that hammer, the newly buffed hammer going out, and they are about to close this out and about to know more. That is going to be the rest of the set for Paladins?
Man, oh
yeah,
man, Paladins put up one heck of a fight here in this final game of the set, but that could have been a glorious comeback here for Order of Fries to be able to get that down to what was it? I think 37 points remaining, 35 points remaining, somewhere around that range in this single push, back to back jumping power clams. It was a very good gambit, a very good play for them to be able to pull off here, and it almost saved their behinds, but unfortunately, Paladins were just able to come back even stronger and just wipe the game out here and there.
Yeah, as much as I said, listen, when you wipe the other team, you have the space to be able to not have the other team rush back. But even though Barnacle and Dime doesn't usually have the same lockout issues as its legal brother, so to speak, zones, where you could essentially just lock out the other team and spawn camp them while the zone ticks down in mid. It is still Barnacle and Dime, and if you wipe and the other team is already at your basket, they are now spawn camping you, and that's unfortunately what happened here with Paladins. But as you said, Order of Fries put on a really good fight with that epic push that they had there when it was their turn to get their points.
Yeah, man, oh man, regardless of the outcome, I'm happy to see Order of Fries do what they did today. Paladins, no doubt about it, they were a strong opponent, a strong team to fight against, and I can mention in our last set, this is still just the second week. This really isn't gonna dictate too much. It shouldn't dictate too much as your momentum for the remainder of this. For the remainder of the season in the bracket series anyways. You still have a good chunk of games to play, so don't be down out on yourselves just yet, but take this as fuel, as inspiration. Just keep pushing on forward and to try and make the improvements you need to really come back during the bracket stage and show exactly why you should be where you are.
Yeah, heavy agree there with Dark. I think that this is also quite a difficult gauntlet of map mode stages. I think that it just so happens to have shaken out in a way that if you have not done well in those first two games, it can really put you at a disadvantage really early on and kind of finish you off for the other team. So particularly, I would say in this LUTI Week 2, if you got 1-5-0-5, now's not the time to count yourself out, even if you are down 2 sets. These have been very, very tough map modes, and I think it's time for you to really organize with your team and lock in for week 3. So I'm wishing everybody luck, especially Order of Fries and Paladin, who did really great and showed us some very interesting and very fun loadouts there.
Yeah. I honestly was a big fan of the they brought the weapon comp lineup they brought in. I think it was game 3 with the brush, with the dualies, with the rapid blaster and the tri-slot. I think that was very fun and entertaining to watch. But man, oh man, both these two teams did extraordinarily well today, and congratulations to Paladins for taking this game. In Order of Fries, I have faith that you guys will do the work that is needed to make sure you guys come back even stronger and show yourself that you're not down out of the couch just yet. But with that being said and done, I believe that not only wraps up our set for tonight, but also our block and for the stream here tonight. So as we start getting things wrapped up, Sasu, anything you want to add or plug in before we go?
Yes. So my social media, as you can see below there, is at Sasu in your pants. That's SASUIN. The letters UR pants. And I can be found on Blue Sky and Instagram, and I have a Twitter, though I don't use it anymore, and Discord. And honestly, if I'm on that social media, then just search that up and you'll find me. And Dark, where could we find you?
You can find me on most social media sites at SPF_dark or just at SPF dark without the underscore if they're lame and don't have the underscore as their username requirements. But other than that, you're most likely will hear my voice time and time again, either here at Splatoon, at Dow Productions, Splatoon Tourneys, CCA, Under Pressure. I'm all over the place. I like casting relatively weekly at this point, so you hear me time and time again. But that being said and done,
Speaking of all over the place, I wanted to really quickly give a shout out to our streamer here, Jorian, behind the scenes, putting up all the graphics. For those of you watching earlier on, handling the cams of all the casters and commentators, and doing a lot of the work behind the scenes, particularly for these LUTI sets. So shout out to Jorian for keeping everything running, giving us those fantastic replays, and doing a lot of the work. So I know you're all over the place, Dark, but Jorian also behind the scenes is all over the place. So shout out Jorian, love your streamers, and give them the credit they deserve. But yeah, I think that's about it for both of us. Yeah.
Yeah, that does it. And what an entertaining 2 sets today's been. But that being said and done, we are going to wrap up here. So be sure to throw a follow here at Double Productions. Be sure to follow Splatoon 30 for more LUTI information. And we'll see you guys on the flip side.
Bye.